Chapter 1002. Dr. What, don't worry. Your husband is fine and the surgery went smoothly. He's currently in the ICU for observation. Director Sue said that he'll be under observation for 48 hours. If he wakes up, he'll be fine. I'll go take a look. Huamin struggled to get up. However, she felt dizzy. Dr. Hua, you're exhausted. I suggest you rest more. It's still early. Why don't you sleep a little longer? No, I want to see Qin Shu. Huamin stubbornly got up and ignored the assistant nurse beside her. She held on the wall and walked toward the door step by step. The assistant nurse's heart ached when she saw Dr. Hua like this. She couldn't even walk properly, yet she was still worried about her husband. It seemed like she really loved him. Outside the ICU, Huamin put on her scrubs and gently pushed open the door. Qin Shu was still lying there quietly. It was very quiet. She slowly walked over and sat down beside him. Then, she held one of his hands. His hand was a little cold. Huamin didn't know if it was because of the low temperature outside, but she held on to Qin Shu's right hand and kept rubbing it. She tried to warm him up. You have to wake up. Huamin kept talking to Qin Shu. She hoped that he could hear her. The night was long. In the ICU on the top floor south side, Huamin stayed by Qin Shu's side like this. Dr. Hua, it's late. You should go back and rest. Give me some glucose. I want to inject him here, Huamin ordered. Here. The nurse was surprised. Yes, I want to stay with him until he wakes up, Huamin said stubbornly. Dr. Hua, but the nurse seemed to feel that something was wrong. Go, it's fine. Seeing that Huamin insisted again and again, the nurse had no choice but to turn around to get the glucose infusion from the prescription and put on Huamin. She didn't have much energy recently and rarely ate. Her physical strength was seriously lacking. Glucose was the only way to quickly replenish his energy. However, this method was a little torturous. After all, it required acupuncture. After the assistant nurse left, Huamin leaned his face against Qin Shu's hand. She gently kissed Qin Shu's slightly cold hand with the corner of her mouth, and a part of her heart softened. The moonlight shone through the window as she sang softly. You are my angel, the angel that protects me. From now on I have no sorrow. You are my angel, my happy angel. Since then, I have learned to fly. Only after flying through the impermanence of the human world did she understand that love was a treasure. No matter what the world had become, as long as there was you, it would be heaven. Like a child relying on a shoulder, like tears relying on a face. You're like an angel giving me dependence, giving me strength. Like a poet relying on the moonlight, like a dolphin relying on the ocean. You are an angel. You are an angel, my first and last heaven. Huamin really liked Mayday songs. When she heard Angel years ago, she thought, wow, what beautiful lyrics. The lead singer must have fallen in love with a girl and wrote such a beautiful song with such a beautiful melody. She felt that this was the perfect time to sing it to Qin Shu. He was her first and last heaven. Without Qin Shu, there would be no beautiful world for her to speak of. Honey, stop singing. You're out of tune again. A feeble voice murmured. Huamin suddenly got up. Her watery eyes were wide open, and she was ecstatic. Honey, you're awake? This was probably the most emotional moment she had been in the past few days. Chapter 1003. Honey, it's so good to see you. Qin Shu slowly opened his eyes. His voice was still weak. He seemed to have had a very, very long dream. He dreamt of his youth and those inexperienced memories. He dreamt of the school opening ceremony. He dreamt of the genius girl with short hair who wore a camouflage uniform. He dreamt of her smiling under the sun. He dreamed of her saying to him, Qin Shu, if I choose someone, I'll be with him forever. So do you dare? He had such a long and sweet dream, and now he was finally awake. Being able to see Huamin as soon as he woke up was already the greatest comfort for Qin Shu. Dummy, you'll live to be 100 years old. Huamin tightly held on to Qin Shu's hand as tears instantly rolled down her cheeks. Her tears fell like pearls from a broken necklace. She had been tense for the past few days, but at this moment, she was finally able to let go of all her emotions. She finally felt as if a huge rock had been lifted off her chest. Don't cry. You'll become ugly. Qin Shu gently held onto Hua Min's little hand and comforted her. She cried beside Qin Shu for a while. After venting her emotions, Hua Min suddenly remembered something and got up to pour Qin Shu a glass of water. Then, she brought a glass of water with a straw to his lips. "Honey, drink some water first." Qin Shu obediently drank the water slowly. Professor Feng and the others all said that you might have to be under observation for 48 hours. "This is a critical period, but I think you'll wake up." Hua Min looked at Qin Shu and said softly, "I'm sorry. I made you worry." Qin Shu looked at Hua Min with guilt. He could imagine what kind of psychological pressure Hua Min had been under during the past few days when she was unconscious. "Don't apologize. It's good that you're awake. It's good that you're awake." Hua Min grabbed Qin Shu's hand and placed it beside his cheek, as if no amount of intimacy was enough. After Qin Shu woke up, Hua Min, who had been tense for the past few days, finally relaxed. She ignored her physical discomfort and took care of Qin Shu while receiving a glucose infusion. The assistant nurse was scared out of her wits. "Dr. Hua, you can't do this. Mr. Qin is awake. You can go back and rest." The nurse was constantly worried that the needle would roll in the back of Hua Min's hand. The assistant had been reminding her carefully, but she refused to listen and ignored the assistant's words. She still refused to leave Qin Shu's side. "Honey, be a good girl and go rest." "I'm fine now." "No, I want to eat and live with you and never leave your side." Hua Min felt very insecure. Qin Shu looked at her, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. "But is it really okay for you to wear so little and walk around me? Aren't you trying to test my endurance?" Upon hearing what Qin Shu said, Hua Min's face immediately turned red. "Come on, you're still thinking about this at a time like this. Can you please? Be a good girl, go back and rest." Seeing that Hua Min was overworked because of him, Qin Shu couldn't bear to see her like this. He kept trying to persuade her to go back to her room. But, "No, I'm going to stay here." "What? Are you going to bite me?" Hua Min was completely shameless. Even if Qin Shu chased her away, she wouldn't leave. She even acted like a pervert in the end. But was Mr. Qin someone who would be scared? "Okay, you said it yourself." After speaking, before Hua Min could say anything, Qin Shu suddenly looked up and bit her lips. She was caught off guard. Dr. Hua, you guys go back to work. I'm going to go now." The assistant nurse was scared out of her wits. She immediately covered her eyes and ran out of the room. The kiss lasted for 2 whole minutes, from domineering to clingy, from reckless to gentle. It seemed like a long process originally. Hua Min thought that since they were an old married couple, she wouldn't be shy anymore. However, she still felt her heart race. After a long time, Qin Shu finally let go of her and leaned back on the pillow. "You're acting like a pervert as soon as you wake up. You're so shameless," Hua Min said with a red face. "Can I kiss my wife?" Mr. Qin came back to life and was still as arrogant as ever. Just then, someone pushed open the door and walked in. "Qin Shu just woke up and you're already acting all lovey-dovey with him. Is this really okay?" A hearty laugh sounded. Qin Shu and Hua Min immediately turned around. Chapter 1004. It wasn't even 6 in the morning yet, but Gao Ran was already here. "How miraculous! Why are you here so early?" Qin Shu asked him. "I was on duty at the police station when I heard from the hospital that you woke up, so I immediately rushed over. I didn't think that you two would put on such a lovey-dovey show for me." Gao Ran was in a great mood. Although he wasn't as sad as Hua Min that Qin Shu was in a coma, he was still very worried. Now that he heard that Qin Shu had woken up, he was instantly overjoyed. He didn't even eat breakfast early in the morning as he sped all the way to Southside. Hua Min stood up in embarrassment. Gao Ran pulled a chair over and sat down across from Qin Shu. "How are you feeling now?" Qin Shu smiled. "I'm back to full health. This is all thanks to your wife. She was the chief surgeon for your surgery this time. She risked universal condemnation to perform the surgery for you and almost lost her own life." Gao Ran, Hua Min anxiously blurted out. She didn't seem to want Qin Shu to know because she was afraid that his heart would ache. Gao Ran's mouth was on par with Zhu Lingling's. They were both on the same level as Hua Min's. If anything happened, she would definitely expose him as soon as possible. Seeing Huamin's reminder, Gao Ren wasn't about to shut up. Instead, he said confidently, "Why can't I say it? It's not like this is something to hide. Plus, you should let your husband know how great you are. Go on." Qin Shu looked at Gao Ran with a smile in his eyes. Huamin lowered her head in embarrassment. To be honest, she didn't think she was great. She didn't intend to use this to claim credit from Qin Shu. It was normal between husband and wife, wasn't it? Qin Shu, let me tell you, your wife is incredible. The location of the operation was so scary that even the top military doctor that Su Yu hired from a military said that the success rate of the operation was less than 30%. Was it because it was close to the heart? I don't know much about this. Anyway, the surgery was very risky and we had to do it without it. In the end, Huamin decided to operate on you personally. She even said that if you live, she will live, and if you die, she will die. She did it with the intention of dying with you. Your parents were shocked. At that moment, I really thought that she was Athena. Gao Ran, stop talking nonsense. It's not as mysterious as you make it out to be. What Athena? What Nuwa? Huamin smiled shyly. It's true. You're as important to me as Nuwa. I finally understand why Qin Shu is so obsessed with you all these years. You're not human. You're not human, Huamin retorted, amused. Don't be in such a hurry. I'm not done yet. You're not human. You're a god. Gao Ran gave her a thumbs up. He thought back to the moment before Huamin went into the operation yesterday and admired her. Not many women in the world would dare to do what Huamin did. She was amazing. After Qin Shu heard what Huamian said, he roughly understood what happened. He looked at Huamin with heartache. She still looked very haggard. She was the main surgeon for this operation. She didn't want to leave his life in anyone else's hands. She wanted to be with him. If he lived, she lived. If he died, she would treat it as suicide. What kind of feeling was this? Qin Shu didn't dare to think about it because he was afraid that his heart would hurt, and it would hurt forever. Qin Shu didn't respond to Gao Ran's question. Instead, he asked, "How did you deal with the kidnappers?" "We're waiting for the police to sue them. They're definitely going to get the death penalty. They kidnapped hostages and injured people with guns. These two crimes alone are enough to get the death penalty, not to mention that they have a criminal record. There should be someone behind Zhou Guanghui. Did you investigate? She can't be that powerful alone." Qin Shu vaguely remembered that Zhou Guanghui mentioned something about a godfather. Also, the knife-scarred man seemed to be wary of her. Even if he didn't say it, I was going to say it. I really did find out. Guess who that person is? Gao Ran asked mysteriously. Chapter 1005. Is it someone close to us? Qin Shu already had a suspect in mind. Gao Ran shook his head. You probably won't be able to guess. That person was one of your father's competitors at GK, Wang Kuan. Later, he was exposed for bribing customs officials and fled to Australia with the money. He's been on the run for more than 3 years now. I heard that he's back in China, but he's not in the city. Zhou Guanghui somehow hooked up with him, and he used her to direct this whole thing. Did Zhou Guanghui say all of this? Qin Shu didn't think that woman's words were trustworthy. Gao Ran shook his head. No, she didn't say anything. She only has hatred in her eyes and wants to kill your entire family. She's crazy. I only found out from the remaining criminals that the knife-scarred man has a criminal record and is a fugitive. He killed a family of 5 and fled to Myanmar for more than a year. I don't know how he hooked up with Wang Kuan, took his money, and snuck back to the city on Monday to plan Hua Min's kidnapping. Qin Shu nodded and didn't say anything else. Did you catch Wang Kuan yet? No, his whereabouts are secretive and hard to catch. Plus, we're not sure if he's in China. Gao Ran shook his head. Then if Zhou Guanghui is crazy, does that mean she can get away with it? Huamin was unwilling to give up. He knew that there was no death penalty for mental illness, so he didn't want to let Zhou Guanghui get away with it. After all, Qin Shu was shot because of this incident and almost lost his life. Gao Ran shook his head. No, there's no way she's pretending to be crazy. Even if she really is crazy, we won't test her. We'll still give her the death penalty. Don't worry about that. Qin Shu and I have been buddies for years. I'll definitely avenge him. But there's something strange. Gao Ran suddenly remembered something and said, "What?" Qin Shu looked at him suspiciously. The robbers this time, including Zhou Guanghui, were seriously attacked when they were in prison. They were beaten very badly. Someone must have instructed them to do this. Otherwise, those prisoners would not be so agitated. I wonder whose idea it was. Gao Ran calmly analyzed the situation. Could it be Su Yu? Huamin didn't beat around the bush and asked directly. I don't think so. If Su Yu did it, he would have killed them. He wouldn't just beat them up. You know Su Yu's temper. Who else could have avenged us? Huamian was also confused. Let's put this aside for now. There's no rush. Qin Shu didn't really want to know who did this. Amichim, you don't have to worry about the city bureau. I'm here. Gao Ran comforted him. Gao Ran stayed for a while and even got a free breakfast before he left. After he left, Huamin came over to feed Qin Shu some porridge. Honey, open your mouth, ah. Qin Shu laughed. I'm your husband, not your son. You don't have to do this, it's scary. Qin Shu was speechless when he saw Huamin take care of him like he was a child at this time. The Qin clan couple and Song Yisher came in, so Huamin didn't care. He continued to feed Qin Shu spoonful by spoonful. Qin Shu cooperated and ate his porridge in silence. Ahem. Lady Qin coughed twice, as if she wanted to remind them. Dad, Mom. Qin Shu was the first to speak. Son, I'm glad you're awake. How do you feel? Qin Yumin and his wife walked over. Huamin placed the bowl of porridge on the cabinet and turned around to leave. She knew that the Qin clan couple didn't like her, but she didn't like them either. When Huamin walked to the door, Song Yisher suddenly said, Huamin, thank you for the past few days. Huamin, who was about to leave, immediately stopped in her tracks. She frowned slightly and turned around to glare at Song Yisher. Chapter 1006. What did Miss Song say? Huamin looked at Song Yisher with a smile, as if she really didn't hear what Song Yisher said. I said, thank you for your hard work these past few days, she repeated. Haha, you make it sound like I'm an outsider and you're Qin Shu's wife. Huamin chuckled. No, I really didn't mean that. Please don't misunderstand me. Song Yisher waved her hands and explained to Huamin. Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose? Are you telling the truth? Do you dare swear? If you're lying, won't you die a horrible death? Huamin challenged. Song Yisher's expression turned ugly. She was clearly put in a difficult position by Huamin's words. Sure. Come here for a second. Lady Qin called out to her and helped her out of the situation. Okay, Mama Qin, I'll be right there. After speaking, Song Yisher nodded apologetically at Huamin and walked over to Lady Qin. Huamian's anger gradually subsided as she turned around and walked out of the ward. She didn't expose Song Yisher in front of everyone. It wasn't because she was afraid of her, nor was it because she couldn't beat her. It was because she didn't want to talk to her. Although Song Yisher was a scheming bitch with a mask, she didn't go overboard on the surface. Qin Shu didn't have the slightest intention of protecting her. Therefore, Huamin felt that if she were to tear her apart too early, she might lose her reputation. However, things were different now. Huamin had just pulled Qin Shu back from the gates of hell. How dare she say something like that? Did she really think she was a big shot? She really took advantage of him. Huamin walked out with an ugly expression. She decided that it was time to deal with Song Yisher. Otherwise, that woman would really think that she was a pushover. Did she really think that she was a stupid woman and treated her like an idiot? After taking care of Qin Shu for so long, she said that it was hard work. Who was she? Did she have the right? Huamin lowered her head and sneered. Qin Shu lay on the hospital bed. He still didn't look very good. He had just woken up and his energy hadn't recovered. Chu, leave the company to me. Don't get distracted. Just focus on your recovery, Qin Yumin said in a serious tone. Slightly Qin Chu nodded his head. Son, I was so scared this time. I don't even dare to think about what your father and I would do if something happened to you. As Lady Qin spoke, she began to cry again. Mom, I'm fine now. Don't get angry. Leave the rest to Huamin. She's very good. I'm sure I'll be fine. Huamin, although she's a little stubborn, she really wants your best interests. We've only just met her this time. It's really hard on her, Qin Yumin reflected. Just then, Lady Qin pulled Song Yisher over to the bedside. Song Yisher looked at Qin Chu shyly. She thought that Mama Qin wanted to create an opportunity for them. To her surprise, Mama Qin suddenly asked in front of Qin Chu, Sure, yesterday. Why did you leave early? You didn't even finish the surgery. Lady Qin seemed to be taking responsibility for Huang Mian's actions. Song Yisher's expression changed slightly when she heard this. She immediately explained, Oh, Mama Qin, the thing is at the time, we were all very worried about Qin Chu's safety. My mom's not in good health to begin with, and she was overly nervous. So, my mom felt that her heart wasn't feeling well. I took her to a place to rest. Later, it was getting late, so I drove her home. Really? But why did I hear her say something about life and death? Did she think that Chu was dead for sure? So, she left early? Lady Qin asked unhappily. Although Lady Qin didn't hear what Lady Song said clearly, it definitely had to do with Huang Mian's life and death. She could tell from her expression that it wasn't anything good. Chapter 1007. No, Mama Qin, you heard wrong. My mom said that Qin Chu hasn't woken up yet, and if we all collapse from exhaustion, what would we do? As for life and death, I think she said that life and death are unpredictable and that we should all cherish our lives. That's probably what you heard, right? Song Yisher tried to hide her smile. Oh, so that's how it is? Mrs. Qin replied suspiciously. Just then, Song Yisher looked at Qin Chu on the hospital bed and smiled shyly. Qin Chu, I knew you'd be fine. I've prayed with Jesus many times and silently prayed for you. I'm sure God will protect you. Qin Chu glanced at Song Yisher's face and said awkwardly, Thank you. Son, after you're discharged, take Min home with you. Your mom and I have decided to apologize to her. You can only see the truth in a life and death situation. Min has suffered a lot. You almost died, and she went with you, Qin Yumin suddenly said. Song Yisher's face fell upon hearing this, and her fingernails dug in her palms. Mom, Dad, you finally thought it through. Your dad wants to apologize. I don't want to apologize. I'm already so old. It's like a slap in the face. Lady Qin seemed embarrassed. The truth is, it's fine as long as you don't hate her anymore. Mian, although she looks cold on the surface, she's actually a very nice person. She'll remember anyone who treats her well. It's not what you think. If you can resolve the conflict between the two of you, I'll be relieved. Qin Chu chuckled. I think, even if Mama Qin and Mr. and Mrs. Qin apologize, Min won't forgive you. After all, she has a hot temper. If she says something too extreme, it'll be difficult to clean up the mess. So, you should be careful with your words, Song Yisher reminded them. She didn't know why, but she felt uncomfortable when she heard that the Qin clan couple wanted to reconcile with Huang Min. Didn't Mrs. Qin say that Huang Mian was the most detestable and liked her the most? She didn't want to see the world at peace and happy family. That would make her feel bad. How come you seem to know Huang Min better than I do? Are you close to her? Qin Chu turned his head and sneered at Song Yisher. This woman was disgusting. He was talking about family matters with his parents, but she was trying to butt in. Oh no, that's not what I meant. Qin Chu, you've misunderstood me. Huang Min and I are friends. After interacting with her for a while, I realized that she has a strong personality, so I'm worried that she won't give face to Mama Qin and Mr. and Mrs. Qin. If that happens, you two won't be able to back down. Song Yisher felt that she might have gone a little overboard, which was why Qin Chu was unhappy. She immediately changed the topic and took back her words, and continued with her pretense. I know my wife very well. I don't want outsiders to worry about family matters. Qin Chu's words made Song Yisher feel like she had been slapped in the face. She stood behind Lady Qin and didn't dare to say another word. Qin Chu was too powerful. If he didn't like what he heard, he would directly make you lose face. He wouldn't give you a tactful reply, nor would he be merciful just because you were a girl. To him, women who weren't Huang Min were people he didn't need to pay attention to or care about. It was that simple. Therefore, he really didn't need to give face to Song Yisher. He directly retorted in front of his parents, making Song Yisher obediently shut up. Huamin didn't return to her room. Instead, she planned to visit Yang. Ever since her accident, she forgot to ask about the kid's surgery and recovery. When she arrived at the VIP room, she realized that it was empty. The young nurse greeted obediently. "Where's the patient in this room?" Huamin asked. Chapter 1008. He's already been discharged. When? Huamin was slightly surprised. He left the day before yesterday. Okay, I got it. Huamin nodded, took out her phone, and dialed Ingzi's number. A young lady. Hello. Sister Ingzi was now extremely polite to Huamin, completely different from before. This wasn't only because Huamin was GK's a young lady, but also because Sister Ingzi admired Huamin's way of dealing with people. Huamian was decisive, straightforward, loyal, and most importantly, resolute. After signing an Yang, Huamian had been promoting him like crazy, helping him take his career to the next level. After Huamin found out that Yang was sick, she personally contacted the hospital and arranged for his surgery. All of this was done by Huamin. In all these years, Yang had never been treated so well by anyone. Therefore, he truly treated Huamin like an older sister. Sister Ingzi, how come Yang was discharged so soon? Wasn't he supposed to stay for half a month? Huamin frowned slightly. She was worried that Yang wouldn't be able to recover well if he went home early. A young lady. I don't know where the paparazzi got the news that Yang was recuperating here, but several paparazzi came to the hospital to spy on him. I was worried that the plan would be exposed, so I discharged him early. However, I also contacted his attending doctor. He looked at the CT scan and said that he's recovering well. We also hired a professional nurse to take care of him. How is he doing right now? Huamin asked worriedly. He's doing very well. A young lady, don't worry. Sister Ingzi's tone was gentle. From her tone, Huamian knew that Yang was fine. Otherwise, she would be the first one to worry. That's good. Tell him to rest and not to rush out. The company will arrange for him. Huamin nodded. Just as he was about to hang up, Sister Ingzi asked, a young lady, I have something to ask you. The truth is, there's been a rumor going around. Sister Ingzi paused. What rumor? Huamin slightly frowned. The rumors are spreading like wildfire. Some say that something happened to young Madam and President Qin. You guys haven't shown up at GK in a while, and I was worried when I didn't see you at Southside. I heard that the company has returned to the chairman. So did you guys leave GK? Or did something happen? If it's just a rumor, then don't believe it. We're fine. President Qin and I just went on vacation. We didn't leave GK. We just took a break from work and asked the chairman to help us out for a few days. Huamin comforted her. I see. Okay, I'm relieved. After hanging up, Huamin let out a slight sigh of relief. Qin Chu suddenly disappeared from GK, and the chairman returned to GK. Everyone was suspicious. Many people in the company guessed that something had happened to President Qin because he suddenly left without saying goodbye and didn't even say a word. Even his trusted assistant, Assistant Yang, didn't know what happened. She was confused by everyone's questions. The good thing was, everything was over. She went back to her room and took a hot shower. She changed into a clean set of white cotton pajamas and a pair of cotton slippers. She really treated this place like her home. She even bought clothes for everyday use. Just as she was about to go downstairs to buy some fruit for Qin Chu, she bumped into Huasiqian in the hallway. When he first saw her, his eyes were filled with joy. My little sister, you've finally come back to life. As her brother, I want to celebrate with champagne for 3 days and 3 nights. Huasiqian stood 3 meters away from her and smiled faintly. If she wasn't mistaken, his eyes were filled with love and affection. Just like every time Qin Chu looked at her, she felt like she was hallucinating. Chapter 1009. This was the first time that Huamin looked into his eyes so seriously. She suddenly didn't know what to say. In the past, she always talked back to him, but he never got angry. He was always laughing and joking around. Now that she was talking to him so seriously, she was really not used to it. Thank you for your kindness, but don't celebrate with champagne. I'm not a high-profile person, Huamin said faintly. You're so eloquent. I know that you've really recovered. You're bound to have good fortune after surviving a disaster. Are you talking about Qin Shu? Huamin felt like this sentence was more appropriate for Qin Shu. After all, he was the one who had just survived a disaster. No, I'm talking about you. Hua Xiqian chuckled. Are you going out in pajamas? You're wearing pajamas? Hua Xiqian was speechless when he saw Hua Mian walking downstairs in this outfit. I want to eat some fruit, Huamin said honestly. Fruit? You have to go down yourself? What are the Qin family doing? Do they all come empty-handed? Hua Xiqian was obviously full of complaints. They probably didn't think that much. They were just worried about Qin Shu's safety. Huamin found an excuse for the Qin family. However, he couldn't blame Mr. and Mrs. Qin. They were so scared that they didn't have the time to buy fruit. This morning, Lady Qin and Qin Yuman rushed over when they heard that Qin Shu had woken up. They bumped into Song Yisher at the door. The three of them came empty-handed and didn't bring anything with them. Hua Mian, on the other hand, was tired of eating plain porridge all the time. She wanted to improve her relationship with Qin Shu. Okay, you shouldn't go out like this. Your immune system is so weak, you might catch a cold, Hua Xiqian said as he turned to look at the nurse on duty. Come here. Then he took out a 1,000 yuan bill from his pocket and handed it to her. Go out and buy some fresh fruit. You can have the rest. Don't worry about the duty station. I'll take care of everything. Because Hua Xiqian was the president of the Hua Foundation, everyone knew that he had a high status at Southside and had a good relationship with the hospital director. No one dared to question his power. The nurse took the money and asked weakly, President Hua, what kind of fruit do you want? Hua Xiqian looked at Hua Mian. Ask her. The nurse turned to Hua's eyes. Hua Mian, anything's fine, whatever. Hua Mian didn't know what she wanted to eat anymore. Then I'll buy a little of each item. Here's another 1,000 yuan. Hua Xiqian took out another 1,000 yuan from his wallet and handed it to her. The nurse took the money and jogged out of the hospital. People who didn't know better would think that Hua Xiqian spoiled his sister, and in fact he did. However, his sister was only for Huamin and had no effect on Hua Yinyan. After the nurse left, Huamin didn't know where she was going, so she followed Hua Xiqian down the hallway. You seem to be worried about me, she suddenly asked him. Of course, after all, you're my only sister, Hua Xiqian replied nonchalantly. Why do you hate Hua Yinyan, but treat me so well? Is it because the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Huamin didn't really understand Hua Xiqian's thoughts. It's not that complicated. Whether I like someone or not depends on my mood. Hua Yinyan is just an eyesore. Maybe it's because she's too stupid, but you're too smart. I always like to deal with smart people. Hua Xiqian smiled with one hand in his pocket. I thought we would always be enemies. Huamin tilted her head and glanced at him. So now, do you still see me as an enemy? Hua Xiqian put away his playful smile and asked in all seriousness. It seemed like Huamin's answer was very important to him. Chapter 10:10. Are you going to tell me the truth? Huamin asked softly. Of course, well, I'll tell you the truth. I don't treat you as an enemy now, but I'm not your friend either. Once you hurt me or my family, I'll still treat you as an enemy. Therefore, my attitude towards you depends on your attitude towards me or the people around me that I care about. TSK, TSK. You made it so complicated to even answer a question. Your brain is amazing. Hua Xiqian smiled and sighed. Huamin couldn't tell from his face whether he was satisfied with this answer or not. However, what Huamin didn't know was that when Hua Xiqian saw Huamin alive and well in this world again, he felt a sense of relief. He suddenly felt like the haze in his heart was swept away. It was as if the sun was especially bright today. The phrase, your world can be filled with life because of one person, was not chicken soup for the soul, but rather, it was a true feeling. Hua Xiqian always thought that Huamin was the most outstanding person in his past, present, and even future. She was so beautiful and eye-catching. If he lost her, then his life would be dull and boring. Just like Suyu, he had everything he wanted. He endured humiliation and tried to please Jiang Hong. Along the way, he usurped the throne and tripped over Shunjiani. He kicked out Hua Yinyin and Hua Si and made Hua Zhenghai a mere figurehead. None of this gave him a sense of accomplishment. It was as if these things were meant to be his. Only Huamin was the most beautiful accident in his life. He liked this accident that God created for him. Even though she didn't belong to him yet, he still liked this accident. Soon, the nurse came back with 2 delivery men behind her. Each of them carried a lot of bags of food. President Hua, I bought them. I bought a little bit of everything that was sold at the fruit store: strawberries, bananas, peaches, durians, cantaloupes, grapes, apples, pineapples, blueberries, longans. The nurse looked like she was going to list out all the fruits in the store. Hua Xiqian quickly stopped her. You don't have to report to me. Send it to Dr. Hua's room, he ordered. Yes. The nurse obediently led the 2 delivery men to Huamin's room. Thank you for the fruits. Huamin glanced at Hua Xiqian and suddenly felt like he had a good side to him. Even though it was a waste to buy 2,000 yuan worth of fruits, his way of doing things made him feel good. Hua Xiqian was different from Suyu. He rarely squandered money like it was water, so his occasional extravagance was quite impressive. Go home. Don't go out and buy whatever you want to eat. Just call me when you get back, Hua Xiqian said. You don't have to be so polite. You don't have to come to see me all the time. Hua Xiqian. Huamin was still very guarded against him. She always remembered what Qin Shu told her not to get too close to him. Qin Shu would never wrongly accuse someone for no reason. There must be a reason why he said that. You're flattering yourself again. Who said I was here to see you? I came to Southside to talk to President Wu about the cooperation between the Hua Corporation and Southside. I was just passing by to see you. Okay, I guess I misunderstood you. Hua Xiqian's words made Huamin feel less burdened. Huamin turned around and went back into the room. He picked out a few fruits for Qin Shu to wash. Dr. Hua, your brother is so nice to you. The nurse who bought the fruits was so envious. Haha, really? Huamin thought that Hua Xiqian was nice to her for a reason. She would rather believe that she was still useful to him. Hua Xiqian originally planned to go upstairs and talk to President Wu. Ever since Qin Shu and Huamin got into trouble, President Wu seemed to be spending a lot of time at Southside. Southside was doing better and better, and its reputation was about to surpass that of the first hospital. Just then, he vaguely saw a pretty figure in the hallway. After identifying her, he smiled and walked over. Chapter 10-11. Hi, Miss Song. President Hua. Song Yisher nodded. You're here to see Qin Shu? He asked. Song Yisher nodded again. Yes. You seem to have a good relationship with him. I've never seen Qin Shu with a woman other than Huamin. Really? Then it seems like I'm the accident in Qin Shu's life. Song Yisher was full of confidence. Hua Xiqian smiled and shook his head. No. To Qin Shu, no one is an accident except for Huamin. Miss Song's confidence is sometimes a good thing, but sometimes you can't be so sure. After all, it'll be bad if you get slapped in the face. Song Yisher still smiled elegantly. You seem to have some prejudice against me. Song Yisher wasn't a fool. Every time Hua Xiqian saw her, she could tell what he was saying, especially when she knew that Hua Xiqian was Hua Min's brother. Although they weren't close, she was still very guarded against him. Prejudice? Of course not. I don't have any prejudice against beautiful women. I just really admire Miss Song. Now in the whole circle, you're a famous person. You haven't been back for long, but you're already so open. So I'm thinking it's rare to find a woman as smart as you. Since you're so good, why are you looking for things that don't belong to you? It's so tiring to steal other people's things. It's better to find someone you like. President Hua, you're wrong. How do you know that I'm stealing other people's things and not taking back what belongs to me? I'm innocent too. I'm also the victim. I don't feel good about it either. I'm also a victim. Song Yisher pretended to be pitiful, but her words were very obvious. She had met Qin Shu when she was 8 years old, and Huamin was the third party. Therefore, she did not think that she was a mistress. That's why I say some people are smart all their lives, but sometimes they're stupid. I really don't want Miss Song to be such a woman. What does President Hua mean by this? Is he warning me? Do you want to fight for someone? Song Yisher smiled meaningfully. No, I just think that since you're so beautiful, why don't you give me a chance? Maybe with a best match. Faced with Hua Xiqian's half-joking confession, Song Yisher lowered her head and chuckled. President Hua, don't make fun of me. You have so many women around you, and you're never short on any of them. Why would you stop at me? I know myself very well. If you knew your place, you wouldn't keep staring at Qin Chu. Ha! Miss Song is a smart person. Sometimes, you shouldn't go overboard. How should I put it? You might think that she's easy to deal with, but the truth is, if she wants to mess with you, she can do it in a matter of minutes. You're smart, but she's smarter than you. You should be careful. Hua Xiqian's explicit reminder made Song Yisher very unhappy. Who was Huamin? Would she be afraid? What a joke. She was the mayor's precious daughter and the darling of the upper class. So many rich men would love nothing more than to date her. Huamin was a woman with no looks, no education, and no background. How could she compare to her? So, you're warning me and threatening me on behalf of Huamin? So, is everyone in the Hua family so self-righteous, arrogant, and annoying? Do you think I'm afraid? Do you think I'm that easy to deal with? Song Yisher sneered as she looked at Hua Xiqian. This was the first time she revealed her true self in front of an outsider. She suddenly didn't want to pretend in front of him anymore. She realized that he was just as fake as she was. They were both mass people, so... Miss Song, is this the first time you've taken off your sweet and lovable mask? Hua Xiqian raised his right index finger to his lips and chuckled. He really pushed Song Yisher too far and forced her to reveal her true self. Chapter 10-12. President Hua, you're overthinking things. Life isn't a melodramatic drama. I don't even know what you're talking about. I, Song Yisher, have always been a real person. You think I'm not passionate enough about you, but that's because I don't know you well. So, don't judge me because of this. I won't accept your comments. Hua Xiqian's words made Song Yisher very unhappy, but she wasn't going to fall out with him here. There were too many people here, and someone like Hua Xiqian was here, so Song Yisher didn't think it was necessary to continue arguing with him. Her opponent was Huamin, not Hua Xiqian. Okay, if you want to keep wearing it, then okay. I'm really curious to see how long you can wear it. It'd be best if you don't take it off for the rest of your life. That would be perfect. After speaking, Huamin stretched lazily and walked away. Song Yisher looked at Hua Xiqian's back with an unpleasant expression. She suddenly felt that this man wasn't simple. He wasn't the happy-go-lucky person he appeared to be. Moreover, Hua Xiqian, an adopted son, was able to survive among the wolves, tigers, and leopards of the Hua Corporation and reach the top. Was that something a simple person could do? Song Yisher didn't know what the relationship between Hua Xiqian and Huamin was. She didn't know if Hua Xiqian really wanted to help Huamin, or if he was just doing this. Therefore, she didn't dare to act rashly. However, she was sure that she didn't take Hua Xiqian's warning to heart. Was Huamin very powerful? Was he smart? Was he easy to deal with? She really wanted to challenge him. Her life had been so smooth, she really wanted to take a detour. She wanted to see how long Huamin could resist. She also wanted to see if she was charming enough to make Qin Chu fall in love with her. That was the best proof of his charm. In fact, Song Yisher was a very narcissistic person. She had always thought that she was the most perfect woman. She was beautiful, had a good temperament, came from a good family, and had no dark history. No one could even find a black mark on her, so she immediately became one of the best in the domestic socialite circle. That night, Song Yisher posted a picture of Jesus and a cross. She said, "Thank you, Lord, for passing through this trial. I hope that everything will be fine in the future." Netizens' comments instantly flooded Song Yisher's Weibo. "Goddess, I support you. Song Goddess, you could do it. I've always liked you. Goddess, what wish has been fulfilled? Can you share with us? Wow, Goddess, you also believe in Jesus." Sure enough, all cultured women are Christian believers. May the Lord bless you in everything. When can you post a selfie for us? Give us some benefits. We're going to beat that scumbag Huamin in an instant. The goddess is so beautiful, but she rarely posts selfies. It only means that she's beautiful, but her heart is even more beautiful. She's low-key and reliable. Song Yishur leaned against the headboard with her phone in her hand. As she read the comments on Weibo, the corners of her lips curled up slightly. She was very satisfied that these people were sucking up to her. She felt like this was how her life should be. Everyone was looking at her, and everyone was envious of her. Everyone knew that Song Yishur was living a good life. Inside a private mansion, when Jiang Xiaowei saw this, she was about to explode in anger. I'm so angry. There are so many shameless people in the world. Why is she the worst? Slightly, what's going on? Wei Liao was making milk for Jiang Xiaowei. He saw her throw her phone on the coffee table with a loud bang. It was obvious how angry she was. Bitch Song. Jiang Xiaowei cursed in a flustered and exasperated manner. Slightly. Are you arguing with her again? Wei Liao asked worriedly. Ever since Jiang Xiaowei got pregnant, her temper seemed to have gotten worse. She would immediately explode whenever she encountered injustice. Even Xin Chu's mother had been scolded by her before. Tang Chuan once joked, "What is love? Everything has its vanquisher." Even someone as smart as Wei Liao could be conquered by Jiang Xiaowei and work for her without complaint. Chapter 10:13. Fight with her? Does she even have the right? I'm scared that she'll dirty me. I used to think that Huamin was too low-key. What about now? Wei Liao asked with a smile. Now, I think that Huamin was right to ignore her. She's a bitch. Just her mask disgusts me to death, and she still wants to pretend to be a goddess. Slightly. Calm down. There are people like her in this world. The world is big and full of wonders, Wei Liao comforted her. No, I have to yell at her before I sleep. After speaking, Jiang Xiaowei left a comment on Song Yishur's Weibo using her sock puppet account. Master of curbing all kinds of bitches. There's no such thing as a goddess in this world. Many people want to sleep with her, so she became a goddess. But I'm sorry, if I were a man, I wouldn't want to sleep with a woman like you. I'm afraid that when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll see a different face. After all, not everyone can have two faces. I think you didn't learn how to draw in Italy, but how to draw skin. Jiang Xiaowei's classic comment made Song Yishur's fans furious, and they immediately attacked her. However, her Weibo banned comments, so those people couldn't yell at her in the comments. They could only at her. Song Yishur's face darkened when she saw the comments. This wasn't the first time that Master of Curbing all kinds of bitches had yelled at her. If it was the first time, she might have believed that this person was an anti-fan, but now, she felt like this person could be Huamin or Huamin's friend. So, Song Yishur directly sent a private message to Jiang Xiaowei's Weibo. Is it Huamin? Huh, you sure know how to flatter yourself. Do you think Huamin would pay attention to you? Jiang Xiaowei replied. Zhu Lingling? It seemed that she had also learned about Huamin's circle of friends. Looks like you know quite a lot of people. You must have investigated Huamin quite a bit. You really don't have good intentions. Jiang Xiaowei sneered. It's Miss Jiang, right? Oh no, I should call you Mrs. Wei now. Song Yishur said. She could almost tell from her tone that this was Jiang Xiaowei, because Zhu Lingling's words were not so sharp, and she did not have such a high EQ. Only Jiang Xiaowei had such a sharp tongue. That day at the entrance of the operating room, Jiang Xiaowei had scolded everyone, and it wasn't like she hadn't seen it. Who is Jiang Xiaowei? Are you familiar with him? Jiang Xiaowei refused to admit it and directly retorted Song Yishur. Mrs. Wei, do we have a grudge? This doesn't seem to be the first time you've targeted me. Is there any meaning in opening a smurf account to hack me? Do you have that much free time? I heard that you're getting married with a child, right? Since you're pregnant, you shouldn't go around slandering others. You should also accumulate good karma for the child in your stomach, okay? Song Yishur's words were sharp. She had never liked Jiang Xiaowei, perhaps because she was helping Huamin too much. Thanks to you, my child will definitely be fine. Why don't you worry about whether you'll be able to get married? If you ask me, once a woman gets older, she should walk the right path and find a good husband. Don't shamelessly stare at someone else's husband all day long. Don't you know that mistresses are the most disgusting creatures in the world? Jiang Xiaowei directly scolded her. I'm curious. What does what I do have to do with you? If I was staring at your husband, I could understand why you would say that. There's a saying, dogs shouldn't catch mice. That's meddling in other people's business. Plus, it's not good for you, right? Hwamin won't be grateful to you, right? Why do you have to go against me? Song Yishur sneered as she typed. Song Yishur's words made it clear. I'm not seducing your husband, so why are you being so smug? Chapter 10:14. Jiang Xiaowei was furious when she heard this. She immediately yelled back, if you were I, my husband right now, do you think you'd still be able to show off here in one piece? Do you think I give you face? Hwamin may not want to talk to you, but that doesn't mean he's afraid of you. I really have to hand it to you for being so thick-skinned as to get involved with him. Actually, calling you a mistress is already a compliment to you, because only a woman who's been acknowledged by a man can be called a mistress. To Qinshu, you're probably just a passerby. So sometimes I feel sorry for you. You're the legendary type of person who asks someone to sleep with her, but the other party refuses. It's a pity for your face. TSK, TSK. All these years, very few people could win against Jiang Xiaowei when it came to insults. She was practically invincible. Moreover, she was especially good at reading people's minds. She would directly say things that would break people's minds. Wei Liao once said that one day, he should let Jiang Xiaowei and Hwamin have a verbal duel. Perhaps the only person in the world who could suppress Jiang Xiaowei was Hwamin. As expected, Song Yishur was angered by Jiang Xiaowei's words. She angrily blacklisted her. Then, she stopped private messaging her. Jiang Xiaowei was proud of herself. After a round of battle, she made Song Yishur run away at the last minute. She ran away so easily. I have more tricks that will make you feel even worse. Aren't you just a scheming bitch? I'm even more ruthless than you. Jiang Xiaowei immediately logged onto her main Weibo account. It was a verified account with a verified ID. Her verified username was Slightly Smiling, and her profile was Jiang Xiaowei, a well-known psychologist in the country and a special commissioner of the Public Security Bureau. Jiang Xiaowei also had hundreds of thousands of followers, and she would occasionally update her Weibo. She wrote a paragraph on her Weibo. I'm so happy today to be good friends with Song Goddess. She's a really nice person, just like her. Then, she had Song Yishur. Many fans began to comment below, and it was extremely lively. Song Yishur's phone exploded as well. Fans who didn't know what was going on left comments under Song Yishur's account. Sure, you know Xiaowei? Wow, that's great. Goddesses are indeed best friends. Song Goddess, you even know Dr. Jiang? I'm so envious. You're both top students. I love both of you. Song Yishur had just been scolded by Jiang Xiaowei, so she was still angry. She was still angry when she was called out by Jiang Xiaowei's main account. She was about to explode with anger. Being the same on the outside and on the inside, this sentence was really high class. Others might not know, but how could she not know? But due to the influence of her fans, if she didn't respond, it would cause suspicion or be seen as arrogant. Therefore, she had to bite the bullet and reply to Jiang Xiaowei. It's nice to meet you. Rest early, moi. Song Yishur clearly hated Jiang Xiaowei to death, but she still sent a moi. This was really difficult for her. After Jiang Xiaowei saw the reply, she hugged her phone and laughed hysterically, slightly. You won the argument again? Wei Liao silently looked at his wife. Argument? How could that be? Am I such a vulgar person? To deal with a bitch, you have to use an even more despicable method. I think bitch Song will lose sleep tonight. After speaking, Jiang Xiaowei replied to Song Yishur again. She even sent a picture of a luxury watch to Song Yishur. Sure, is this watch nice? Do you like it? I'm planning to buy it for you. A watch for you equals bitch Song. Jiang Xiaowei was like the first black person in the world. She didn't even use a dirty word when she scolded people. After Song Yishur saw this, her face turned green. She instantly understood. However, the fans didn't understand and left silly comments below. This watch is very expensive. The two goddesses are so close. Seriously, why didn't anyone give me such a nice watch? I'm so jealous. Song Goddess, take it. It's a waste not to take it. You have to accept Dr. Jiang's gift. Song Yishur was so angry that she drank half a bottle of mineral water to calm herself down. Then, She suppressed her anger and replied, "Thank you, my dear. You don't have to be so polite. I don't want to watch. I already have one. It's good to have one. Too many will only add to my troubles." One of the fans unintentionally asked, "Isn't it unlucky to give someone a watch? Watches and clocks are the same type. Doesn't that mean that someone is going to die?" After hearing this, Song Yishur became even angrier. She directly threw her phone onto the ground with a loud bang. Not only did that woman, Jiang Xiaowei, privately message her on her sub-account, but she also publicly scolded her on her main account. Moreover, she couldn't even turn on her. How frustrating was that? "Oh, my baby, what happened?" Lady Song was scared out of her wits when she saw her daughter throw her phone on the ground. Chapter 10:15. "Mom, I don't feel good." Song Yishur pouted and began to complain. "What's wrong? Who messed with my baby girl?" Lady Song only had one daughter, so she loved her dearly. Mayor Song also treated her like the apple of his eye and was always proud of her. "Mom, let me ask you, if I want to be with Qin Shu, will you support me?" In front of her mother, Song Yishur publicly expressed her feelings for Qin Shu for the first time. She didn't seem to want to wait any longer. "I knew you were still thinking about Qin Shu, but he's already married." Lady Song also thought that Qin Shu was a good match for her daughter, but the bad thing was that he was already married to his first wife. "Mom, what era are we in now? Why would they get divorced after marriage? It's not like they're going to be married forever." Song Yishur retorted, "But my baby girl is going to marry a divorced man. Why do I feel like you're being wronged?" In Lady Song's eyes, no woman in the world was as good as her daughter. She even labeled Qin Shu as a divorced man. "Mom, I wouldn't mind even if Qin Shu marries a third or fourth time, let alone a second time. Seriously, if you really like Qin Shu, why didn't you do it earlier? They're both studying in the West. You should have told me earlier. Why did you let an outsider come between you? I'm so worried for you." Lady Song didn't understand. What had her daughter been doing all these years? Now that Qin Shu was married, she suddenly remembered that she liked him. Song Yishur sighed slightly and then slowly said, "Mom, actually, I want to look for him back then, but I didn't dare to see him. You don't know how cold and scary he was. My friends in the States all said that Qin Shu was a cold-blooded monster. He didn't talk to any of his classmates in the States and was always alone." "What about now? It's fine now?" Mrs. Song asked in confusion. "Yes, I thought I didn't care anymore, but now that I see him being so gentle to Huamin, I feel very uncomfortable. I know I'm still not reconciled. I was too confident in the past. I thought I was the only one who was worthy of Qin Shu, so I ignored the absurd fact that he actually fell in love with another girl in high school. Mom, I regret it now. I want to get him back." Song Yishur walked over and leaned on Lady Song's shoulder like a spoiled child. "Aya, you child, your father is the mayor. If you do anything, it will cause bad public opinion." Lady Song had her reservations. "Don't worry, I won't do it in public. I'll secretly take Huamin away. As long as Huamin is gone, Qin Shu will be mine. I'm confident that he still has feelings for me. After all, we lived together for more than a year when we were kids." Song Yishur still thought that she was infallible. She always thought that when they were 8 years old, they were childhood sweethearts. The truth was, Qin Shu didn't even remember what Song Yishur was like back then. He had completely forgotten everything that happened before he was 8. What he really cared about were the 3 years in high school. Those 3 years were filled with sadness and joy, tears and laughter. "Do you have to be like this?" Sure. With your qualities, we can find anyone you want." Lady Song tried her best to persuade her. "No, I want Qin Shu. I must make this wish come true." Song Yishur was determined. The truth was, what she felt for Qin Shu was no longer love. It was a kind of arrogant jealousy. Before, she didn't think that Qin Shu was important. When she was in the States, she didn't even dare to get close to Qin Shu when he was so cold. Now that she saw the best person by Huamin's side, Qin Shu, she wanted to steal him away. It was like when you were a piece of flawed jade. Although I was tempted, I didn't want you. Now that you've been polished into a top-notch piece of jade, I want you. At the end of the day, she wanted to steal the happiness that belonged to Huamin. She didn't love Qin Shu deeply. On the top floor of seductive Fox, GK Film and Television's progress slowed down because of Chin Chu's injury. On top of that, Ai Yang was recuperating and Immerse was out filming. Therefore, they were overshadowed by Imperial Star. Recently, Imperial Star had been shining brightly. Suyu had spent 300 million yuan and signed 8 more artists. They were in the limelight and held a celebration party for the company's executives and nightclub. Everyone was having a great time. Suyu, on the other hand, was very calm. No one could tell if he was happy or angry the entire night. No one dared to get close to him. Only his good friend, Tang Chuan, dared to sit next to him and tease him. Ahem, Lord Su, why aren't you playing? Are you not in the mood? Tang Chuan asked. Suyu held onto his wine glass. No one knew what he was thinking, but he didn't say anything. News came from Southside. Chin Chu woke up. Did you hear about that? Tang Chuan asked. Chapter 10:16. Isn't that a good thing? Suyu wasn't surprised, and his tone was indifferent. It's not a good thing for you, right? As long as it's a good thing for Huamin, Suyu replied calmly. Lord Su, be honest this time, did you ever think that Chin Chu would never wake up? Tang Chuan was actually very curious about Suyu's current state of mind. After this experience, Suyu seemed to have matured. His temper was becoming more and more restrained, and his fiery temper was almost gone. This was magical. It was all thanks to Huamin. Her appearance completely changed Suyu. Are you going to be honest? Suyu licked his lips and asked. Of course, we've been buddies for so many years. Just tell me the truth today, and I won't tell anyone anyway. Tang Chuan patted his chest and promised. Then, he looked at Suyu with a gossipy expression, waiting for his answer. Suyu sighed softly, and then slowly placed the red wine glass on the black coffee table in front of him. Never. I even hoped that Chin Chu would wake up, because if he doesn't, Huamin won't wake up either. This was what Suyu cared about the most. Tang Chuan wasn't present at the incident at the hospital that day, so he didn't know the details. If he knew, he wouldn't have asked Suyu this question, because if something happened to Chin Chu, Huamin would be done for. So, how could Suyu hope that Chin Chu wouldn't wake up for the rest of his life? He even tried his best to contact the military doctors. He looked for hospitals, specialists, and everything else after being busy for many days. He finally succeeded. Chin Chu woke up, and so did Huamin. However, he quietly left. He didn't go to the hospital anymore. He didn't even know what identity he should use to go there. Plus, it was good enough to know that Huamin was fine. If he went there too often, he was afraid that rumors would start again. He didn't care, as there were so many rumors about him these past few years. However, he couldn't ignore Huamin. Her reputation at Southside and in society, he couldn't ignore it. He didn't want to hurt Huamin. He only wanted to see her smile, even if it wasn't for him. Fuck, you're so great. Young Master Su, please accept my kneel. Tang Chuan pretended to kneel. Suyu smiled. He knew that he wanted to be funny. Old Wei is so obsessed with the opposite sex. Dr. Jiang is too scary. We rarely hang out with him. Speaking of which, I'm looking forward to their wedding on New Year's Day. Oh, right, you're the best man, right? You're the groomsman's tea? Tang Chuan continued to gossip. That's still a long way off. I haven't even thought about it. Suyu smiled. Just then, Jin Tong walked over, wearing a long black dress with a deep V and a white mink cloak. She looked elegant and graceful. President Su. Upon seeing this, Tang Chuan immediately left, and Mitchum, Suyu nodded. Why aren't you drinking? Not in the mood. Jin Tong asked. No, I'm just a little sleepy. Do you want to come to my place tonight? Jin Tong asked. Suyu was silent, thinking about how to answer. Jin Tong continued. My place is newly renovated. One of the rooms is decorated in the style of your old mansion. If you don't want to go back to the old mansion, you can come to my place. You can sleep upstairs, and I'll sleep downstairs. Or, if you're afraid of being photographed by the media, you can sleep in that room, and I'll go to my other apartment. Jin Tong was smart. She didn't make it too obvious. It was just a subtle invitation to Suyu. Suyu glanced at her and replied nonchalantly, It's okay. I've been enjoying going back to the old mansion. I'm used to it. Oh, Jiantong looked slightly disappointed. Suyu had been abstinent for a long time, and he didn't touch any women. This made Imperial Star want to be with him. Jiantong was so outstanding, but Suyu never touched her. Everyone began to suspect President Su's sexual orientation. Su didn't care about the rumors. After leaving Seductive Fox at 2 in the morning, he sped all the way home. He wanted to go home, but somehow he ended up at South Side. He raised his head and looked at the VIP room on the top floor. He suddenly wanted to go up and see her. Young Master Su, you're here to see Dr. Hua again? Huamin's assistant already knew that Su Yu and Huamin were friends, so he didn't think much of it and greeted him with a smile. Is she asleep? Su Yu asked softly. Chapter 10:17. No, Dr. Hua is in her husband's room, the nurse replied with a smile. Okay, I got it. Su Yu nodded and didn't say anything else. Huamin cut the freshly washed fruit into small, delicate pieces and placed them on a fruit platter with toothpicks. Then, she carefully brought the platter to Qin Shu. She used a toothpick to pick up a piece of honeydew melon and brought it to his mouth. Qin Shu cooperatively opened his mouth and took a small bite. Honey, does it taste good? Huamin asked with a smile. Don't you already know if your husband tastes good or not? Qin Shu chuckled. Can't we just have a nice conversation? Huamin was speechless. Her husband was the best of the best. How could he think so dirty when eating fruit? After a few bites, Qin Shu began to feel tired. Huamin put down his pillow and helped him lie down. Just then, a nurse came in with an 4-drip. Dr. Hua, Mr. Qin needs to change his dressing. Director Su said that he needs to get an anti-inflammatory shot in a few days. Okay, leave it to me. The nurse nodded, put down the 4-drip, and walked out. Huamin picked up the medicine on the tray and looked at it. After making sure that there were no problems, she quickly attached the 4-drip to the hook on the tray. Then, she pulled Qin Shu's hand over. It's going to hurt a little, bear with it. Then, Huamin lowered her head and inserted the 4-drip into Qin Shu's body. She was very careful and succeeded on the first try. She used very little force. Qin Shu felt as if he had been bitten by a mosquito. Then, everything was done. Okay, it's done. Huamin took a deep breath. Thank you, honey. Qin Shu smiled gently. Then you should sleep for a while. I'll discuss your treatment plan with Director Su and see how long it will take for you to be discharged. Okay, come back soon. Qin Shu reluctantly watched Huamin leave the ward. Huamin then walked out of the ward. She did not notice a familiar figure standing in the corner of the corridor. Suyu looked at her from afar. He didn't even have the time to talk to her, or perhaps he didn't want to disturb her. After taking a quick glance at her, Suyu felt much better. Then, he turned around and left South Side, driving home. By the time Huamin returned from his discussion with Director Su, it was already more than an hour later. When the assistant nurse saw Huamin, she smiled and greeted him. Dr. Hua, has young Master Su left? Su was here? Huamin was slightly startled. You didn't know? The assistant nurse was also surprised. When did he come? Huamin asked. About an hour ago. Young Master Su paced back and forth in front of your ward. I thought he went to look for you. I even told him that you were in your wife's ward. Didn't he go? Oh, I see. Huamin fell silent after speaking. More than an hour ago, she was feeding Qin Shu fruit in the ward. She didn't even notice if there was anyone at the door. Maybe Suyu saw her, but didn't say anything to her? Speaking of which, Suyu is a lot more introverted now. He was different from his previous flamboyant personality. If it was before, he would definitely have swaggered in, regardless of what you were doing. Suyu did go to the door of the ward, but he didn't go in. He stood outside and looked in through the glass. Huamin leaned over the bed and fed Qin Shu. Their eyes were filled with love. He felt sad watching them, so in the end, he didn't go in. When he turned around to leave, Suyu walked to the corner of the corridor. He stared greedily at Huamin for a long time until her figure disappeared at the end of the corridor. When he returned to the Su family, his mother was still awake. Lady Su was watching a midnight show. When she saw her son, she immediately walked up and took his jacket. You're home so late. I thought you were sleeping in the condo. Because Su Yu's private mansion hadn't been renovated yet, he spent most of his time at the Su family's house and occasionally at the condo. The condo was right next to Imperial Star, so it was very convenient for him to work. No, Suyu said, a little lonely. I heard from your grandpa that you agreed to go on a blind date. Lady Su looked at her son and asked gently. Chapter 10:18. Yeah, Suyu nodded, looking a little tired. Don't you hate blind dates the most? Why did you? Lady Su looked at her son with heartache. She was anxious before and wanted her son to get married soon, so she often looked for socialites for her son. But later, she realized that he didn't like any of them and wasn't interested in anything. Lady Su once thought that her son had a sexual orientation problem and worried for a long time. Later, she found out that her son had a girl he liked, but that girl had someone she liked. In the process of getting to know Huamin, Lady Su realized that Huamin was indeed a very good girl. She liked her too, but Huamin's heart wasn't with Suyu at all. There was a saying that you could never wake up a person who was pretending to be asleep, and you could never beat a person who didn't love you. Lady Su felt bad for her son and wanted him to forget. She didn't want to see him in pain, but she found that he fell deeper and deeper. Last time, his old comrade brought his granddaughter over. She thought that there was a chance and said that he knew, but after a few days, Suyu chased her away. He was so impatient that he couldn't even be bothered to send her to the airport. He arranged for Imperial Star's PR department to pick her up. So, he suddenly agreed to go on a blind date with his grandfather. Did her son think it through? Or, I promised Grandpa, so I'll do it, Suyu said listlessly. Then, without waiting for Lady Su to ask more, he turned around and went upstairs. Under what circumstances did he agree to go on a blind date with his grandfather? Was it under the circumstances that his grandfather agreed to get him a military doctor? In the end, it was all for Huamin. He didn't think that there would be a day when he would sacrifice himself for others. When Huamin returned to the ward, Qin Chu was still awake. Seeing that the four was finished, Huamin gently asked him to remove the needle. Then he pressed his finger on the needle hole to prevent bleeding. Honey, yes, don't be so silly in the future. Qin Chu looked at her with heartache. You mean? Huamin didn't know what he was referring to. Operate on me and live and die with me. Although I don't want to leave you, when it's time to leave, I still hope that you can live well and not do anything stupid. During the day, after listening to Gao Ran's story, Qin Chu's heart was heavy. However, he never had the chance to tell Huamin. Now that there were only the two of them, Qin Chu felt sad, but he still said it out loud. Fine, if you marry me, you won't care about me anymore. Do you want to leave me alone? Huamin pretended to be even angrier. No, I just think that you have a lot of unfinished business. You still have Jushin to take care of, you still have your mother to repay, and you still have your biological parents to find. Anyways, you still have so many unfulfilled wishes in this world. How can I bear to let you leave with me? Qin Chu was a man of few words. He rarely spoke in long paragraphs to you. Therefore, when Huamin heard this, he was deeply moved. Don't even think about leaving me. If you're not here, how can I care about so many things? I don't think they'll blame me. Honey, do you know what's the scariest thing in the world? What is it? Qin Chu didn't know the answer in Huamin's heart, so he didn't want to try to figure it out. The scariest thing isn't not being able to have it. It's losing it after having it. If we didn't reunite after 7 years, you would have lived your life in the States, and I would have lived an ordinary life in Sea City. It would have been fine if we never crossed paths again. But since God gave us a chance to reunite, I plan to be with you for the rest of my life. If I lose you after having you, I won't be able to live on, and I won't have the courage to face the life after losing you. So, this isn't a sacrifice. I think being with you, whether it's heaven or hell, is a form of release for me. It's also a form of rebirth. After Huamin said this, Qin Chu was deeply shaken. He didn't know how intelligent Huamian was, but he was more than touched that she could come up with such a conclusion. He was more than happy to hear that. He was comforted that Qin Chu didn't fall in love with the wrong person. Honey, come here. Qin Chu reached out his hand and looked at Huamin with an extremely gentle gaze. Chapter 10:19. Huamin didn't say anything as she quietly walked towards Qin Chu, He reached out his hand and tightly held onto her small white hand. Then, he gave her the warmest hug. Feeling Qin Chu's warm body, Huamin felt a sense of security. She finally felt that she was truly by Qin Chu's side. I've made you worry for the past few days. From now on, I'll take care of myself and protect myself. I won't let you take any more risks. Qin Chu was a cold and aloof Prince Charming, but this was the first time he had said something so warm. Huamin started crying as she listened. Tears began to fall uncontrollably. Why are you crying again? Honey, I've only been asleep for a few days, and you've already become a crybaby. Qin Chu laughed as he reached out his hand and gently wiped away her tears. All my strength is for others to see. As soon as I wake up, I don't have to pretend to be strong anymore. I can cry, I can laugh, I can do anything I want. You're my biggest support. Okay, we're husband and wife. Let's not talk about strangers. Even if I want to confess, today isn't the day. I want to confess to you properly at your wedding. Wedding? Huamin wiped away her tears and looked at Qin Chu in surprise. Are you dumb? We haven't even had a wedding yet. Qin Chu laughed. But aren't we already married? It's the same whether we have a wedding or not. How is it the same? Every woman has to have a grand wedding in her life. On that day, she'll be the most beautiful woman in the world and the star of the show. As for me, I'm going to give you a grand wedding and let the world know that I, Qin Chu, have married the person I love the most. Huamin's cheeks turned slightly red as she looked at Qin Chu lovingly. From the very beginning, they had no choice but to hide their marriage. She didn't even think about whether or not they would have a wedding in the future, because Huamin felt that as long as two people loved each other and lived happily together, why should they care about the formalities? But he didn't expect that Qin Chu had been planning this all along. He didn't want her to suffer at all. After I'm discharged, we'll go home and discuss the date and details with my parents. The two of them feel guilty, so they want to apologize to you solemnly. Huamin shook his head. Although they were wrong, since they are my elders, I won't hold it against them. Why should I ask them to apologize to me? Wouldn't that be killing me? I've always felt that when it's possible to make mistakes, one should spare them. Don't make things difficult for others, and don't make things difficult for yourself. Just do as you wish. Huamin's temperament had always been so indifferent. He always exuded a mature and steady aura that did not match his age. Therefore, she could take care of many important matters and shoulder many burdens by herself. You're too calm, so sometimes people can't help but bully you. Qin Chu reached out and touched her face. With Mr. Qin around, who dares to bully me? Huamin smiled mischievously. Qin Chu couldn't help but lean over, hold her face, and kiss her again. He couldn't get enough of Huamin, even if he loved her 1,000 times. He already had the most precious thing in the world, so even if he really couldn't pass this time, he could die without regrets. While taking care of Qin Chu, Huamin also recovered a lot of energy. Occasionally, he would talk to his mother and Jixin, but they were still in the dark. In the blink of an eye, Qin Chu and Huamin had been living at Southside for almost half a month. Jiang Xiaowei came every day. During the day, she would come to take a look and then leave. Zhu Lingling came every 2 days. Because she still had work to do, Si Qian also came occasionally. Only Suyu came. After Qin Chu woke up, Huamin never saw him again. She lived and ate with Qin Chu at Southside. Everyone at Southside knew that Dr. Hua cared a lot about her lover. The young nurses often teased her, asking Dr. Hua, "Were you going to have a baby? It would be so beautiful." Every time that happened, Huamin would smile slightly and not say anything. But then, she would go to a place where no one was around and secretly hurt herself. Why couldn't she get pregnant? She stroked her flat stomach. She had slept with Qin Chu many times before. Sometimes, when Mr. Qin was in high spirits, they would do it several times a night. Recently, he was injured and didn't have a chance, but he had recovered well these past few days. Was she going to fuck him? Huamin thought about it and felt her cheeks burn. Chapter 10:20. Huamin had already changed in her white coat. She would occasionally make house calls since she lived at Southside. Dr. Hua, The hospital director is looking for you. Okay. Huamin turned around and went to the hospital director's office after hearing her assistant's words. Come in. When Huamin entered the office, not only was President Wu there, but also Deputy Director Chun, who had just arrived, as well as many experienced professors and department directors. Is this a meeting, Director? Huamin was a little nervous because she didn't bring any notes. She didn't prepare anything. It's not a meeting. Sit down first. Huamin listened to President Wu anxiously and slowly sat down. Then, everyone suddenly burst into thunderous applause. Huamin was dumbfounded. Director, is something good happening? Huamin was scared. Was he going to send her off? After all, she hadn't worked for almost 20 days. She had been delayed for so many days. Dr. Hua, through our selection, we unanimously recommend you to be the chief physician of the Department of Neurology. What? Huamin couldn't stay calm anymore. It wasn't easy to be a chief physician. Most people either had high academic qualifications and medical skills, or had many years of clinical experience. They were all very old. Currently, in the entire province, there wasn't a single chief physician younger than 40 years old. However, Huamin was only 24 years old, and she looked very young. Dr. Hua, congratulations on becoming a chief physician. Director Li looked at her with a smile. Director Li, what about you? Huamin knew that it was impossible for a department to have two chief physicians. Director Jiang of the Department of Neurology at the first hospital just retired. I'm going there. You'll continue to stay at Southside. But, President Wu, I can't do it. I'm too young. I can't take on this responsibility. Huamin was really panicking. Why did she feel that she wasn't qualified enough? Director Wu looked at her and said slowly, Huamin, don't be afraid. We've been observing you for a long time. You're calm and steady, and you've managed the neurology department well. When Director Li wasn't around, you were able to deal with all kinds of problems. Most importantly, we've done one-on-one interviews with the patients you've treated. Out of the 50, 48 of them had nothing but praises for you. The remaining 2 aren't disapproving of you, but they're still recovering, so they haven't made any comments yet. As the youngest doctor in the neurology department, not only are your treatment plans brilliant, but you're also able to perform the most difficult surgery for your loved one. Even though the success rate was less than 30%, you still grit your teeth and persevered. You're very capable, and the hospital doesn't give people chances for no reason. You deserve our recognition. After that, everyone applauded again. The clapping made Huamin feel touched, which she hadn't felt in a long time. Every step of her hard work had been observed by the hospital. She started off as an intern nurse, then became a regular nurse, and then became a head nurse. Later, the hospital made an exception and recommended her to take the doctor's license exam. So, she became a doctor in the Department of Neurology. Now, she was even going to be a chief physician. Huamin felt that she was really lucky. Not everyone's hard work could be recognized. Dr. Hua, you're really great. Yeah, Dr. Hua, you can do it. Do your best. A few experienced doctors praised and cheered for her. Huamin, why aren't you thanking the director? Director Li reminded her with a smile. Only then did Huamin realize what was going on and quickly bowed to him. Thank you, Director. Thank you, Director Li. Thank you to all the seniors who recommended me. I will definitely work harder in the future and strive to be as outstanding as all of you. When Huamin walked out, she was still excited. Being promoted to chief physician as an exception was the dream of many people. Many of her classmates in medical school were still intern nurses, and some of them couldn't take it anymore and changed careers. She was the only one who still persisted in her childhood dream, so stubbornly. All the corridors and wards at Southside heard the announcement. Important announcement. Effective today, Dr. Huamin, a doctor in this area, has been promoted to chief physician of the Department of Neurology due to her outstanding performance. All the doctors and nurses said, "Congratulations, congratulations," when they saw Huamin. When Huamin entered Qin Chu's ward, she couldn't suppress the excitement in her heart. "Honey, did you hear the announcement?" Huamin asked excitedly as she pointed at the small radio in the room. "What did I hear?" Qin Chu pretended to be sleepy and asked in a daze. Chapter 10:21. You really didn't hear anything? It was announced to the entire South Side. Huamin was a little disappointed. Qin Chu sat up in a daze and leaned against the pillow behind him. He rubbed his eyes and said, "What's up, honey? I just woke up." "Okay, you really slept at the right time." Huamian pouted and looked disappointed. How nice would it be if he was her husband? Would he be able to be excited with her? Seeing how cute Huamin was, Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. Did something good happen? No. Go back to sleep. I'll go wash your clothes. Huamin turned around and picked up Qin Chu's pajamas. She was about to walk to the bathroom. Luckily, Qin Chu reacted quickly and grabbed Huamin's sleeve. "Honey, congratulations on becoming a chief physician. You're awesome." Huamin turned around abruptly. "Okay, you lied to me." Then, she threw the dirty clothes at Qin Chu's face, smiled, and bit the back of his hand. She didn't use too much strength. It was as if she was seducing him. "Honey, it's such a waste to bite there. Can you bite somewhere else?" Qin Chu couldn't help but tease her. "Where else?" Huamin looked up. Her innocent eyes made Qin Chu want to pounce on her and eat her up. "You can help me take off my pants first, then we can talk about it." Huamin immediately understood. She immediately raised her fist and punched Qin Chu's shoulder. "You're so impure. How can you say something so inappropriate? Oh my God, Mr. Qin has completely changed." "I didn't change. I'm different from person to person. I'm my wife. Of course I can eat her up however I want." Qin Chu hugged Huamin's shoulder and allowed her to pound him with a face full of happiness. Huamin leaned on his shoulder and gently lifted his shirt. Looking at that hideous scar, her heart ached. Professor Feng's suturing skills were superb. Although there were no scars, it would take 2 summers for the wound to fade. It still looked scary. Huamian lifted her finger and gently drew circles around the scar. Qin Chu's life was hanging by a thread because he was trying to save her. She would never be able to forget this incident. Perhaps one day, when he was 80 years old, he would be too old to remember anything. He would never forget this matter. "Hubby, it's so good to have you." Her head was tightly pressed against his arm as she whispered in his embrace. "Honey," he called out softly. Do you want it?" "Fuck off." Huamin felt like she couldn't have a pleasant conversation with Mr. Qin anymore. Every few sentences he said, he would start flirting with her and talk dirty. She didn't even know how to respond to him. "Honey, what?" "Do it." "Damn." "Qin Chu, will you die if you stop flirting with me?" Huamin blushed as she questioned him. "If I don't eat you, I'll feel terrible, especially when I can't eat you even if I want to." Qin Chu looked wrong. "You'll be discharged in a few days. Can't you just bear with it?" Huamin looked at him, amused. "Bear with it for a few days? A few days is a long time to me." "Haha, keep pretending." Huamin burst out laughing. She looked at Qin Chu's wrong face and felt like a little bitch. Qin Chu looked at Huamin from head to toe and finally fixed his gaze on the area below the neck and above the stomach. "What are you looking at?" Huamin covered her chest with her hand. Chapter 10:22. Honey, I remember buying you a couple of deep V-neck knitted sweaters. Why don't you wear them? Qin Chu was speechless as he looked at her white lab coat and couldn't see anything. How dare you say that? How can I wear such a big neckline outside? Huamin glared at him. You don't have to wear it outside. Just wear it for me to see. I don't care about anyone else. I'll gouge their eyes out if they see you, Qin Chu said with a smile as he put one arm around Huamin's head and leaned in. This time, he kissed her ear. His movements were very gentle, as if he was tickling her ear with a feather, making her heart itch. Honey, Huamin felt like her willpower was gradually collapsing. Suddenly, the door to the room was pushed open. Is it really okay for you two to do something so inappropriate in broad daylight? Gaoran was jealous. Zhu Lingling was standing behind Gaoran, covering her mouth as she laughed. Ahem. Huamin immediately stood up and fixed his collar. Qin Chu looked over and his face darkened. Why did these two bastards come in at this time? Hey, you two did it on purpose, right? Qin Chu thought that Gao Ran had to come at this time of all times. He was speechless. Why would we? We're not gods. How would we know that you two would be so wild? It's broad daylight. Not only did you not block the curtains, but you also didn't lock the door. Io, I'm blushing just looking at you. Don't pretend to be innocent. There's no such thing as blushing. Someone who is obsessed with AV since middle school would blush. Are you kidding me? Qin Shu directly exposed Gao Ran. Zhu Lingling glanced at him with a funny look in her eyes. Huamin also laughed as she looked at Gao Ran, who was embarrassed by Qin Shu. Ahem, don't talk nonsense, Qin Shu. Let me tell you, I don't know any of those Japanese names, such as, I don't know any of them. Fuck, you're so much better than the ones I know, you little yellow man. Zhu Lingling angrily stepped on Gao Ran's foot. Her high heels pricked his foot. Oh my god, it hurts. We can't turn against each other just because of Qin Shu's words. We're on the same side. We have to work together to fight against the Qin Shu couple. Who's on the same side with you, little Gao? Zhu Lingling yelled. Huamin couldn't stop laughing, and she gave her husband a thumbs up. Mr. Qin, you're amazing. You managed to turn my Lingling against you with just one sentence. Qin Shu, you're so inhumane. It's immoral of you to betray your brother. Qin Shu put his hands behind his head and slowly replied, I'm not betraying you. I'm just reminding Zhu Lingling that you're very skilled, and that you've learned all kinds of martial arts since you were young. So, if she follows you, she'll be able to eat meat. Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling. Huamin laughed so hard that she almost wanted to prostrate herself at her husband's feet. The two of them were obviously caught in the act, but now they were the ones in an awkward situation. Mr. Qin was really smart. He was able to turn the situation around with just one sentence. With such a powerful husband, why would she worry about being bullied by others? She was going to be tortured to death by her husband's scheming methods. Okay, I'm not going to talk nonsense with you guys. When will Qin Shu be discharged? Gao Ran looked at Huamin and asked. About 3 or 4 days. That's not bad. There's one more Christmas, and we're both on vacation. Do you guys have any plans? Why don't we all spend Christmas together? We can celebrate Qin Shu's recovery, Gao Ran asked with a smile. Chapter 1023. Zhu Lingling nodded. I told him that we're going to the hot springs in the southern snowy mountains to fish and play mahjong, but he said it was too boring. The roads in the southern snowy mountains are bumpy, and Qin Shu just had a major surgery, so it's not good for him to travel. Huamin nodded. Then let's have a barbecue party at home or something, Gao Ran suggested. What do you think, honey? Qin Shu looked at Huamin lovingly. Sure, I think we can have a Christmas party and do some cosplay. What do you think? Huamin suggested with a smile. Hey, that's great. I like it. I liked that look when I watched Angelina Jolie's Sleeping Spell. I want to cosplay that look. It's perfect. So, why don't you just say that you want to cosplay as Snow White's stepmother? Huamin immediately insulted her. Oh, so you're Snow White's stepmother. You don't have to cosplay. You'll just be yourself. Gao Ran continued to insult Zhu Lingling. She was so angry that she pinched him. Ouch, be gentle. Are you trying to murder your husband? Go away. Whose husband are you? Are you shameless? Zhu Lingling immediately retorted. Are you two flirting? It seems like you've been making fast progress lately. Huamin interrupted with a smile. Gao Ran immediately changed the subject. Then it's settled, right? We'll start on the 24th and do it from Christmas Eve until Christmas Day. What do you think? Sure, you guys can come to my house. South Hill Manor is perfect for parties. It's perfect. Huamin warmly invited them. Zhu Lingling clapped her hands excitedly and said, That's great. I want to take more pictures and show off on my WeChat moments. That's a good idea. I'll help you show off and fly with you. Gao Ran patted Zhu Lingling's head lovingly. The four of them laughed and continued to tease him. At noon, Huamin ordered exquisite takeout. The four of them ate and chatted in the ward. During this time, they talked about the mastermind of this incident. Gao Ran said that Zhou Guanghui and the remaining members of the gang had been executed. The scar-faced man had died in the gunfight. The only one who hadn't been caught was the mastermind behind this incident, which was Zhou Guanghui's godfather, Wang Kun. Qin Shu's expression was calm. There's no need to look for him. Just close the case. Leave that person to me. Don't tell me you're going to. Gao Ran looked at him and hesitated. Qin Shu didn't say anything either. For some reason, he didn't say anything in front of Huamin and Zhu Lingling. After Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran left, Huamin was busy washing clothes for Qin Shu. Just as the sky turned dark, a special patient arrived in the ward. An orange Bugatti Veyron was parked at the entrance of Southside. Rick quietly went upstairs. Huamin was just about to go to the neurology department to get some documents when she bumped into Rick at the door. Rick was wearing a dark gray cashmere coat and black deerskin gloves. There was never a smile on his face. He had short brown hair and dark blue eyes. He never had bodyguards around him like other bosses. Rick was tall and mighty, and he always liked to be alone. "Is Qin inside?" "Yes," Huamin replied. Rick nodded, knocked on the door, and walked in. Huamin felt like Qin Shu and Rick always had a lot of secrets between them. With her around, it was inconvenient for the two men to talk. So, she didn't go in. Instead, she went to the neurology department. Seeing Rick walk in, Qin Shu put down the book in his hand. "How are you?" he asked. "I'm recovering very well. I didn't die from a disaster. I knew you'd be fine." Rick seemed to have a lot of confidence in Qin Shu. Then, he took out a few photos from the pocket of his coat and handed them to Qin Shu. The man in the photos died a horrible death. His head was covered in blood. Most people wouldn't be able to stand these photos because they were too gory. However, Qin Shu calmly flipped through the photos. His eyes were calm and unperturbed. Chapter 10:24. My brother tracked his whereabouts in Australia and trapped him in a motel. He shot him in the head. "Thank Lino for me." Qin Shu nodded. After confirming that the mastermind behind this incident, Wang Kuan, was dead, Qin Shu felt much better. At least he and Huamin didn't suffer for nothing. Now, they had their revenge. Gao Ran and the police couldn't easily cross borders to arrest people, so Qin Shu used other methods. His way of doing things was to return the favor tenfold if someone offended him. "But I've already retracted my men from Dongtao Town, as you said. Do you still want to investigate?" "Yes, but I'll put it aside for now. I'll investigate it myself once I've recovered." Qin Shu knew that Dongtao Town was a complicated place. If he wanted to investigate Huamin's background, it wouldn't be enough to rely on his subordinates. They would be sending themselves to their deaths. He had to do it himself. "Even though I didn't find much, there's something suspicious. The tracker I left in Dongtao Town showed that the town's communication device has been in contact with foreign countries. I can't find the exact location, but the signal is definitely from overseas. So, you have to be careful. Once there's contact with foreign countries, things get complicated. Your enemy could be the mafia, the cult of the dead, or even terrorists. Basically, there are endless possibilities." If someone else had said this, Qin Shu would have thought that they were just trying to scare him. But if it was Rick who said it, it had a different meaning. Rick had been in charge of the family business since he was young, so he was very good at investigating information. If his equipment couldn't find anything, it could only mean that the other party was even better. Then what kind of secret was hidden in a small town like Dongtao Town? What kind of foreign power was it related to? Could it be Huamin's biological parents were overseas? Qin Shu went into deep thought again. Huamin went to the neurology department to take over some of the documents left behind by Director Li and prepare for her official return to work. When she returned to her post, she was the youngest chief physician in the entire province, or even the entire country. Her colleagues no longer addressed her as Dr. Hua. Instead, they addressed her as Department Director Hua. Although it sounded old, she enjoyed it very much. Being an outstanding doctor was her lifelong dream. After finishing his work, Huamin returned to the ward. He wanted to ask Qin Shu what he wanted to eat. Did he call from the hospital cafeteria? Or did he order food? Song Yisher came at this time. Qin Yuman rarely came to GK, because he was helping Qin Shu take over GK. Lady Qin would occasionally visit during the day, but because she was too embarrassed to face Huamin, she didn't visit as often. Song Yisher was quiet for 2 days. Huamin thought that she would not come again. Unexpectedly, not only did she come, but her mother also came. The mother and daughter brought an exquisite food box. which was filled with steaming hot food. Qin Shu, how's your recovery going? Lady Song asked with a smile. Thank you, Auntie Song. I'm fine now. I'll be discharged soon. That's good, that's good. Ever since your accident, Sure couldn't sleep at night. She always talks about you and cries whenever she talks about it. Look, her eyes are swollen. Lady Song dragged Song Yisher over. As expected, Song Yisher's eye bags were very obvious. She smiled at Qin Shu, embarrassed. Thank you for your concern. My husband will be discharged in 3 days. You don't have to come back and forth. It's quite troublesome, Huamin interrupted. Lady Song ignored Huamin and took over the food box. Sure, said you like fish. This morning, we went to the market to buy some base. We steamed one and stewed the other. Which one suits you? Chapter 1025. I don't like fish anymore, Qin Shu replied faintly. Song Yisher froze. But Mama Qin said you really like it. Maybe my mom misunderstood me. Thank you for your kindness, but my wife loves fish. She likes all kinds of seafood. Mian, thank Annie Song. Huamin immediately understood what Qin Shu meant and smiled at Lady Song. Thank you, Annie Song. If Qin Shu doesn't want to eat, then I'll eat. I won't let your efforts go to waste. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Lady Song and Song Yisher's expressions turned ugly. However, they were too embarrassed to say that they didn't want Huamin to eat. Thus, they handed the food box over. Huamin opened it and sneered. The amount of rice and fish was clearly only enough for one person. It seemed like they didn't prepare a portion for her. Luckily, her husband was smart enough to ask her to get the fish. Qin Shu, you need to rest and get better soon, Song Yisher said gently as she looked at him. Thank you. Qin Shu looked down and didn't want to look at her face. Qin Shu, your Uncle Song said, on Christmas Eve, we'll treat you to dinner. You'll be discharged by then, so you should come with your parents. The 3 of you are perfect. I can prepare an extra portion for the 3 of you. Lady Song's meaning was obvious. Only Qin Shu, Qin Yumin, and Lady Qin were allowed to go. She didn't want Huamin to go. Obviously, she excluded Huamin. Huamin looked at her and found it funny. It seemed like this old lady was going to help her daughter steal Huamin away. Even the mayor's wife wouldn't be so arrogant if she dared to say something like that in front of him. It's okay, Annie Song. My wife and I invited a lot of our friends to a party at home for Christmas. Party? That's good too. Young people all like this. Sure, why don't you come too? Lady Song acted according to the situation and glanced at her daughter. Song Yisher looked at Qin Shu innocently and asked, Qin Shu, can I go? Qin Shu was in a bit of a dilemma. He didn't understand. Why did she still take the initiative to come when he had already made things so clear? Therefore, he looked at Huamin beside him. Huamian smiled. Sure, but our theme for that day is to cosplay as a villain. If you come, remember to cosplay as a villain. Otherwise, you won't fit the theme and won't be able to have fun with everyone. Okay, thank you, Huamin. Song Yisher smiled. As long as she could get involved, why would she care if the cosplay character was evil or not? Annie Song, I'm a bit tired. I'm going to sleep first. My wife could take care of you. With that, Qin Shu lay down and turned his head away from them. It was obvious that he was asking them to leave. Huamin looked at Lady Song politely. Do you want to eat an apple? Sure, peel one for me right now. Lady Song didn't like Huamin, so she decided to torture her. Unexpectedly, Huamin took out an apple from the bag and handed it to her. Apple skin is the most nutritious. Eat it directly. Also, don't wash the apple when you eat it. Although there are pesticides on it, there aren't many of them. If someone dares to eat an apple like this, they'll fight the poison and their immune system will increase. Nonsense. Do you want me to die if I don't eat it? Lady Song was so angry that her face turned green. Huamin, are you kidding? Song Yisher looked at her with a smile. Of course not. I'm a doctor. I know a lot about pathology. I won't blame you if you don't understand, Huamin said in all seriousness. Chapter 1026. Huamin smiled like a blooming flower. He thought to himself, you and your daughter can pretend to be innocent, but I can too. Nonsense. What kind of doctor are you talking about? It's bad enough that you didn't peel the apple, but you didn't wash it either. Oof, I'm not eating anymore. Let's go sure. Lady Song was furious. She dragged her daughter out of the room and didn't take the apple from Huamin's hand. After they left, Huamin sat down on the edge of the bed with a smile on his face. Honey, get up. She's already gone. Stop pretending. Honey, why did you ask Song Yishur to come to a party? You could have just said no. Qin Chu completely rejected this hypocritical woman. He only felt disgusted by her. She wants to have fun, right? Then let her come. I promise she'll have the most unforgettable Christmas of her life. Huamin smiled. That night, even Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling wouldn't let Song Yishur off the hook so easily, would they? Honey, you've become more scheming. Qin Chu gently reached out his hand and pinched Huamin's chin. I'm just following my husband. Okay? Huamin responded with a smile. When it came to scheming, no one was as scheming as Qin Chu. She was just a child's play, right? 3 days later, Qin Chu was discharged from the hospital. Huamin drove Qin Chu back to South Hill Manor early that morning. Uncle Li ordered the maids to make dozens of exquisite dishes. Huamin and Qin Chu could finally have a quiet meal at home. They thought they could spend the night at home, but at noon, Assistant Yang came to South Hill Manor. Sir, Yang was so excited to see Qin Chu that he almost cried. Why are you here? Qin Chu was surprised to see him. You should go back now. The old chairman is too old-fashioned, and no one is used to him. Over the past few days, the company has been in turmoil, and a lot of executives want to resign, because everyone says that GK is done for. Little Yang was also under a lot of pressure. It's only been a few days. Didn't my dad handle it very well? The old chairman's style is different from yours. He's forced to stop a lot of projects. Plus, he's old and obviously can't keep up with the pace of things. During meetings, he's always distracted. Everyone's saying that GK has no future after you and a young lady left because of the conflict between you and the chairman. That's why 3 other senior executives resigned this afternoon. Even I can't hold them back anymore. It's that serious? Huamin was also slightly startled. Qin Chu had just eaten a few mouthfuls of food when he immediately put down his chopsticks. I'll go now. Honey, I'll stay with you. Huamin stopped eating and stood up with Qin Chu. The long-awaited Maybach appeared at GK's headquarters. Everyone immediately stopped making a fuss. President Qin, Mrs. Qin. Hello, President Qin, Mrs. Qin. On the way, the employees excitedly greeted them. They also began to talk about it in private. It seems like all the rumors before were fake. The president and chairman really didn't get along, and he took Mrs. Qin to live abroad. Yeah, some people even said that a young lady was kidnapped and her fate is unknown. Look at her, she's perfectly fine. It's probably fake news released by our competitors. It's so infuriating. After Qin Chu returned to GK's headquarters, everyone was excited. We'll have a staff meeting in 10 minutes, Qin Chu ordered. Yes, sir. Little Yang jogged to each department to inform them. 10 minutes later, thousands of employees gathered in GK's largest auditorium. Qin Chu was wearing a black casual suit. He walked onto the stage with Huamin, who was wearing a white knit shirt and a long dress. They sat down at the front desk. Although they still looked a little haggard, Qin Chu and Huamin's appearance at GK's headquarters was enough to dispel all the rumors. The president wants to say a few words to everyone. Please be quiet, Assistant Yang shouted into the microphone. The entire auditorium fell silent. Qin Chu picked up the microphone and looked around. Huamin stood beside him. He opened a bottle of water and placed it next to Qin Chu's hand. He was extremely considerate. Everyone held their breaths, waiting for the president to come back and say something. Chapter 10:27. In today's meeting, I want to clarify 3 points. First, the chairman came back to the company as a temporary replacement. My wife and I had to deal with some important matters, so we didn't have time to come back. Second, rumors stop with the wise. As employees of GK, don't damage the company's reputation with false rumors. This is the end of this matter. If you hear any more rumors in the future, you will not be forgiven. Third, for those of you who want to resign, You have one night to consider whether or not you want to withdraw your resignation letter. If you insist on leaving, it's up to you. If you want to stay, the door will still be open. If you want to leave, then I wish you all the best. That's all. Thank you, everyone. Qin Shu was a man of few words in meetings. He wasn't like some leaders who talked for 4 or 5 hours, making everyone want to sleep. In the past, all high-level meetings were the same. After everyone expressed their views or opinions, Qin Shu would conclude with a few sentences. It was his personality to end things as quickly as possible. After Qin Shu finished speaking, everyone applauded. Then, Qin Shu held Huamin's hand and walked out of the conference room to the president's office. The finance department immediately sent over a ton of receipts, and the other departments sent over many proposals. It seemed like Qin Shu's father hadn't dealt with a lot of work since he came back. Most importantly, his father was getting old. He didn't dare to casually edit new projects, so he left a lot of work for Qin Shu. Sir, these can't be finished anytime soon. You can either go home and do it, or you could do it in a few days, Assistant Yang reminded him. It's okay. I'll leave after I finish. Qin Shu had always been clear about his work and personal life. When he worked, he had to act like he was at work, so he decided to take care of work first. Honey, Qin Shu originally wanted to tell Huamian to go home first. However, Huamin immediately said, I'll help you do it. It'll save you a lot of time. Then, Huamin sat down with all the documents and began to sort through them. Qin Shu looked at her gently. He knew that she wanted to stay with him because she cared about him. Yang looked at his boss and his wife enviously. He knew that they were deeply in love. In this way, Qin Shu and Huamin worked until late at night. It was 11 o'clock. When they came out, the whole building was dark. Everyone had left. Do you want a midnight snack? Qin Shu asked softly. Let's go home and eat. The papaya snow clam stewed by Uncle Li every night is really delicious. I like it very much. Huamin held Qin Shu's hand and smiled. All right. Then, the two got into the car and drove all the way to South Hill Manor. When the maids saw that their master had returned, they immediately began to prepare supper and sweet soup. When Huamin and Qin Shu came down from the shower, everything was ready. What was rare was that there was a bottle of expensive red wine on the table. Did he take the wrong one? No alcohol, Huamin reminded. Madam, it was Mr. Qin's idea, the maid replied carefully. Leave it here. You guys can go and rest. Qin Shu nodded and told Uncle Li and the maids to leave. In the bright and spacious dining room, only the two of them were left. The long dining table was covered with a clean white cloth. On top of it were desserts, supper, and ginseng soup. There was also a fruit salad and a bottle of red wine. Honey, you asked for the red wine. Let's have a drink? Huamin asked uncertainly. Qin Shu smiled, but didn't say anything. He picked up the bottle of red wine, opened it, and poured it into a glass. He didn't even have time to use a decanter. Then, he handed one of the glasses to Huamin. Honey, thank you for taking care of me these past few days. Although you're the closest person to me in the world, I still have to thank you, Qin Shu said gratefully as he raised his glass. Chapter 1028. Huamin slowly picked up her wine glass. Mr. Qin, you're so jealous. I can't believe you're trying to make me feel better. Then, the two of them ate and drank. Huamin had a decent tolerance for alcohol, but this red wine was very strong due to its age. Not long after, the two of them split the bottle of red wine. Huamin was a little tipsy. Her cheeks were red as she tilted her head and looked at Qin Shu. Honey, you look so handsome tonight. No matter how smart and witty a woman was, she was still drunk by a bottle of red wine. Of course, Huamin didn't know that the bottle of red wine they drank tonight cost more than 3 million yuan. If she knew, she would be very happy without another word. Qin Shu walked over and carried Huamin up to the bedroom upstairs. Are you crazy? Put me down, you just recovered. Huamin was scared to death and kept struggling. Don't worry, your husband is not that weak. Qin Shu didn't care and carried Huamin all the way to the master bedroom on the second floor. Then, he couldn't wait to push her onto the wide and soft bed. Maybe it was because of the wine, or the joy of regaining what she had lost, Huamin was especially passionate tonight. She responded to him actively and cooperated with his gentle movements. In the end, they were lost in a fantasy paradise. This was the first time Huamin slept so well in the past few days. She even snored slightly, which showed how nervous and tired she was. Qin Shu's heart ached as he tucked her in. Then, he hugged her and didn't want to let go. The truth was, he was already prepared for the worst. Even if Huamin never had a child, he would still love her like before. They would always be like this. The next morning, when Huamin woke up, she saw Qin Shu looking at her seriously. "Honey, what are you looking at?" "I'm looking at you." "What's there to look at?" "I'm not the most beautiful woman in the world." Huamin rubbed her eyes and smiled drowsily. "Even the most beautiful woman in the world can't compare to my wife. In my eyes, you will always be the most precious existence. Aren't you embarrassed that sweet talks so early in the morning?" Huamin smiled shyly. Then, she sat up and leaned against Qin Shu's shoulder. She took out her phone and took a morning selfie. However, he didn't pat her face. Instead, he patted her hands, two hands with their fingers interlocked. She posted on WeChats and Weibo. "The best of you, the best of me," she said. "This is the best of us." Is the best of us, sure. The public's loves. Mean ups to herself. Wow, this is the first time GK's young madam has publicly displayed her love. It looks like all the rumors about them being on bad terms and getting a divorce are just rumors. They're getting along very well. Yeah, I have a relative who works at GK. He said that they were holding hands at the staff meeting yesterday. There's no such thing as a divorce. You guys should disperse and stop spreading rumors. Didn't they say that a young lady was getting a divorce because she didn't have children? But it doesn't seem like it. I've always thought that President Qin really loves his wife. I heard that she's his first love. Congratulations. The netizens all expressed their opinions. Jiang Xiaowei saw the post and immediately reposted it on her Weibo account. She even song Isher and said, "Dear Sure, I hope you can find a man as good as Qin Shu. I hope there's a man who loves you as much as Qin Shu loves Huamin." It was such a beautiful blessing, but Song Isher was so angry that she couldn't even eat breakfast. Jiang Xiaowei, she's too much. Song Isher threw down her chopsticks and ate less than 2 bites of her omelet. She was purposely trying to disgust her. Sure, why aren't you eating?" Lady Song immediately asked when she saw that her daughter was unhappy. "Mom, I don't have an appetite. I'm going to school." Then, Song Isher grabbed her bag and walked out of the house. She got in her car and drove to school. On the way there, she called Lady Qin. "Mama Qin, what do you want for lunch? I'll buy it for you." "It's okay, sure. Qin Shu and his wife are coming home today, so we're having a family dinner." Lady Qin sounded quite happy. Song Isher's face turned even uglier when she heard this. Chapter 1029. Family Dinner? "Mama Qin, don't you hate Huamin the most? Why are you having a family dinner?" Song Isher probed. "I didn't like her before, but this time she did a lot for Chu. Now that I think about it, why would I do that? It's all for my son. Why would I be mad at a kid like her?" Huh. Lady Qin's tone softened a lot. She didn't hate Huamin as much as before. Lady Qin was a hypocrite, but she wasn't stupid. She could tell that Huamin really liked Qin Shu this time. She was also unhappy that Lady Song dragged the woman away before the surgery was completed. "Oh, I see. But I don't think Huamin will forgive you. She's a stubborn person, so Mama Qin, you should be careful of your conflict with her." I know. Do you want me to come over and keep you company at noon? It'll help you a little. Don't let yourself be taken advantage of, just like how you were pushed down by those bastards at his house last time. Song Isher repeatedly reminded Lady Qin of those unpleasant memories, trying to make her angry. "It's okay, sure. You're busy with work, so you don't have to come. Let's just leave it at that for now." Then, Lady Qin hung up the phone. Song Isher's face darkened. Was all her efforts to please Lady Qin after she returned to China going down the drain? Just because Huamin was willing to die for Qin Shu, she had no chance at all? Song Yisher didn't want to accept it. However, she couldn't stop the family dinner. After all, she was just an outsider with no status. In the past, Lady Qin was there, so she could stir things up. Now that Lady Qin didn't let her go, she didn't want to get involved. Before Qin Chu and Huamin returned to the Qin family's villa, they went to the Sky Blessing Court first. She bought a lot of vegetables, fruits, and nutritional products for Huamin's mother. Seeing Qin Chu and Huamin holding hands so lovingly, Yang Meiyerong felt relieved and ignored the rumors. They only returned to the Qin family when it was almost noon. Huamin also bought the same thing. Every time he went to the Qin family, he felt very uncomfortable. She felt that even the housekeeper didn't like her very much. But this time, his attitude was clearly different from before. "You're back. Wash your hands and eat. I'll go upstairs and call your father." Lady Qin wasn't very enthusiastic, but she wasn't as bitter as before. This seemed to have improved a lot. "My mother seems to be different from before," Qin Chu said softly. "I feel it too." Huamin nodded. "Young master, a young lady, take a seat. I'll go wash the fruits for you." Even the housekeeper at home was more diligent. After Qin Yumin came downstairs, the four of them sat around the dining room. "How's the company?" Qin Yumin asked worriedly. "It's all done, Dad. Don't worry. After you took over, there were so many changes. I'm not used to it anymore. I don't even know where to start." Haha, young people are so thoughtful. "But you have to take care of your body," Qin Yumin reminded his son. "I know, Dad." "Huamin, are you tired from work?" Qin Yumin asked. I haven't officially started work yet. I'll start after Christmas." "That's good. You've been exhausted recently. Rest well at home." Qin Yumin nodded. The crabs were flown in. "They're quite fresh. You guys can have some." Lady Qin knew that Huamin loved seafood, so she flew in a lot of seafood. However, she was too embarrassed to let Huamin eat it, so she kept saying, you guys. Huamin was very smart. How could she not see it? She saw that Lady Qin was trying to be nice to her, so she didn't refuse and took the initiative to pick up the crabs. She first peeled one for Qin Chu. Then she ate herself. She didn't pretend. "When are you guys going to have the wedding? Have you discussed it?" Qin Yumin took the initiative to talk about the wedding. Huamin didn't say anything. She turned her head and looked at Qin Chu. She didn't know what he meant. Chapter 10:30. I do have this plan, and Mion doesn't have any objections. What about you guys? Do you have any suggestions? Qin Chu asked his parents respectfully. Why don't we do it at the end of the year? Qin Yumin was straightforward and didn't want his son to drag it out any longer. The end of the year is a bit too rushed. I want to do it in a grand manner, Qin Chu replied. Lady Qin glanced at her son and nodded. Our son is right. We only have one son, so we should have a grand wedding. Don't be too hasty. What does Huamin think? Qin Yumin asked. I'm fine with anything. Haha. Actually, it's fine if we don't do it. It's just a formality. To be honest, Huamin really didn't care about these things. She felt that the two of them had already gotten their marriage certificate, and they were already husband and wife. Their relationship was very good, so those formalities weren't essential. It would be best if they were, but if they weren't, she wouldn't complain. After all, marriage was a matter between two people, and it wasn't a matter of whose wedding was grand or who would be happier. Of course we have to do it. Marriage is a once-in-a-lifetime event, so we have to prepare well, Qin Yumin said in a serious tone. Qin Chu thought for a moment and said, Why don't we do it in May next year? It'll be spring then, and I think it'll be just right. Plus, we'll have a lot of time to prepare. Okay, whatever you guys do. Your mom and I don't have any objections. Qin Yumin nodded in agreement with his son's suggestion. After dinner, Qin Yumin and Qin Chu played Chinese chess. Huamin was bored, so she sat on the sofa and played some games on her phone. The maid cut some fruit and placed it in front of her. A young lady, have some fruit. Okay. Huamin smiled and nodded. At this moment, Lady Qin leaned over and pretended to casually say, Eating more kiwis is good for the body. They have a lot of vitamin C, I know. Huamin's tone was indifferent. She never took the initiative to please anyone, but she also didn't want to offend anyone. Lady Qin's attitude couldn't be changed all of a sudden, so there was still some awkwardness between the two of them. Lady Qin sat down on the opposite sofa and pretended to talk to Qin Chu. My friends and sisters are all grandmothers. I don't know how long your father and I have to wait. At the mention of the child, Hua Min's expression changed. She lowered her head and continued playing with her phone, pretending not to have heard anything. Qin Chu laughed and said, "What's the hurry? Who knows? Maybe we can give birth to 2 children for you." "Huh, that would be the best. Your mother and I can never have too many children. It would be best to have a football team." Qin Yuman laughed heartily. It had been a long time since there was such a harmonious atmosphere in this house. Qin Chu and Hua Min didn't feel as depressed as before, so they stayed longer than before. Just as they were about to leave, Qin Yuman called out to Hua Min. Then he said guiltily, "Hua Min, Qin Chu is lucky that you're here. We're not people who don't know what's good for us. We were too harsh with our words earlier. I hope you can forgive us." "Don't say that. The situation was critical, so I can understand why you said that. After all, no one wants anything to happen to their child. If I was the one lying on the bed, my mother would have said the same thing in a moment of panic." Qin Yuman nodded. "Thank you for being understanding. I hope that our family can get along well in the future." Hua Min nodded. Then, Qin Chu and Hua Min left the manor and returned to South Hill Manor. "Huh, we haven't been back to Imperial Park in a while. Do you want to stay there tonight?" Hua Min suddenly thought of the home they had lived in for a long time. "I've already sold a house over there." "What? You sold it?" Hua Min looked at him in surprise. "Yeah." Qin Chu nodded calmly. "Why did you sell it?" Hua Min looked at him with longing eyes. That house contained so many sweet memories between her and Mr. Qin. Chapter 10:31. "Because I don't like seeing Song Yishe," Qin Chu answered without hesitation. Hua Min was slightly surprised, so that's why Mr. Qin was upset. He thought back to how Song Yishe spent millions to buy Imperial Park. She went through a lot of trouble to become neighbors with them. Every day, she would bring them supper and talk to them. It was disgusting, but Hua Min wasn't someone who liked to fight, so he didn't want to get into conflict with her. Now that Qin Chu suddenly sold his house, Hua Min didn't want to part with it. However, if it was because he wanted to get away from Song Yishe, then there was nothing wrong with it. He had to admit that Mr. Qin's actions made Hua Min really happy. "Honey, him, have you really never had feelings for Song Yishe? After all, she's prettier than me, more cultured than me, more educated than me, and has a better background than me." Hua Min purposely said this to tease Qin Chu. Before he could finish, Qin Chu interrupted him. He said, "No matter how good she is, she's not Hua Min, so she doesn't mean anything to me." Mr. Qin rarely said sweet things like this, so Hua Min knew that he meant what he said. Therefore, he felt sweet inside. The sudden sale of Imperial Park was indeed a bit sudden. Qin Chu ordered people to move all of his personal belongings from there to South Hill Manor. From now on, this would be his only home. He originally planned to stay there occasionally, but Song Yishe messed up his plans. Song Yishe didn't know that Qin Chu and Hua Mian were moving. That night, when she saw that the lights were on, she thought that they were living there. Therefore, she bought some snacks and beer and went up to press the doorbell. "Who are you looking for?" The person who opened the door was a big, burly man with a bare upper body. He looked quite fierce. Song Yishe wasn't prepared for this, so she was startled. "Excuse me, isn't the owner of this house surnamed Qin?" Song Yishe asked weakly. "Oh, no, I just bought this house. It's in the hands of an agent." The big man's voice was very loud. "Oh, I see." Song Yishe realized that the house was sold, but she didn't know it at all. Beauty, you know the owner of this house. Come in and have a seat. Let's have a good chat." The burly man saw that Song Yishe was quite beautiful, so he flirted with her. "No need." Song Yishe was so angry that she immediately turned around and went downstairs. Then, she returned to her room. She had spent a lot of money to buy Imperial Park, just to have more chance encounters with Qin Chu, but now, everything was ruined. His home in South Hill Manor was a standalone villa with no neighbors within a 10-mile radius. Therefore, even if she wanted to continue living with him, there was nothing she could do. The losses outweighed the gains. She picked up her phone and dialed a number. "Contact an agent for me tomorrow. I want to sell my house." That night, Song Yishur didn't stay at her place. After hearing that Qin Chu had sold his house, she was no longer in the mood to stay. She drove back to the Song family in the middle of the night. "Song family mansion. Baby, why are you home so late?" Lady Song was in the middle of putting on a face mask. She was quite surprised to see her daughter home. "Yeah, I'm not going to live there anymore. I'm going to sell the house." "What? Sell it? Didn't you just buy it?" "Yeah, but Qin Chu already moved out. What's the point of continuing to live there?" Song Yishur only didn't pretend to be a goddess in front of her mother. She didn't speak in a good tone, and sometimes her attitude was bad as well. However, Mr. and Mrs. Song were used to it. After all, she was the apple of their eye, and they were afraid that she would melt in their mouth. Qin Chu moved out? Lady Song was a little surprised. "Let's not talk about this anymore. I feel uncomfortable." "Oh yeah, Mom. Do you know a good tailor?" Song Yishur changed the topic. Chapter 1032. "You gonna make clothes?" "Yeah, I'm going to a party for Christmas. I have to be the most outstanding one and attract everyone's attention. I can't lose to Huamin. I want to win." "That's easy. I know all the best tailors in the city. Tomorrow, I'll call them over to make clothes for you. Just tell them what you want. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied." Lady Song was 100% supportive of her daughter. Even though she knew that her daughter was going to ruin someone else's marriage, she still indulged her daughter. There was only one person in the Song family who understood the situation, and that was Mayor Song. However, Mayor Song was very busy and often went on business trips. Therefore, he didn't know what the mother and daughter were doing. Inside Tang Chuan's private mansion, a small party was held. Many hot bikini beauties swam and drank in the pool in the middle of winter. Fortunately, the water in the pool could be heated. These rich people really knew how to enjoy themselves. They could do whatever they wanted regardless of the season. Tang Chuan was one of the more fickle ones among Su Yu's buddies. He always changed women and wasn't true to any one of them. They were the kind that could afford to play and let go. As for the family business, the Tang family was very big and had many members. Tang Chuan's brothers and sisters were all well-known entrepreneurs. Therefore, when it came to him, he only cared about eating, drinking, and having fun. This was more relaxed than Su Yu and Wei Liao. The Tang family could easily make a few billion for him to pass the time. In the past, when he was bored, he even opened a venture capital company and some bars. Later, he felt that managing the company was too tiring and too worrisome. He simply stopped doing anything and just ate, drank, and had fun all day long. However, he would always have an endless amount of money. Just his shares in the Tang family alone made him an endless amount of money every year. Therefore, he basically didn't know what his life goal was. He was born without a goal. Tang Chuan patted the butt of the beauty in his arms. "Good girl, go play for a while. I'll talk to Lord Su. Remember to look for him later." The beauty got up reluctantly. Before she left, she even winked at Tang Chuan. She was afraid that she would lose his favor. He watched as the girl swayed her hips and left. Su Yu glanced at Tang Chuan helplessly. "You've been playing for so long. Aren't you tired?" "I'm not tired. It's very interesting. I'm never tired of it," Tang Chuan said with a smile. Su was also speechless. Tang Chuan had been dating different women since he was a teenager. These people were comparable to human traffickers. He had handled at least 80 women, if not 100. However, none of them were sick of it. Some of the rich Ansha family members who used to hang out with Tang Chuan had turned over a new leaf. Some of them got tired of playing and changed their sexual orientation to play with men. However, he was still as extravagant as ever. It had to be said that it was a form of single-mindedness. "I really admire you," Su Yu commented. "Ha! That's why I said that I'm a kind of single-minded person in a certain aspect. Lord Su, take a look at these girls. Do you like any of them?" "No. So you didn't even look at them and directly rejected them. Impossible. Take a good look. I carefully selected these girls. Their body proportions are perfect and their looks are top-notch. They're not the kind of freaks who have undergone plastic surgery. Most importantly, they're relatively clean. You know what I mean. After speaking, Tang Chuan winked at Su Yu and gave him a hint. It's okay. You can keep them for yourself. You don't have to worry about me, Su Yu said as he sipped his beer. All right. Do you have any plans for Christmas? Not yet. I don't know if the company has a movie coming up. I haven't had time to look at the schedule yet, Su Yu replied. Wei Liao and his wife received an invitation from Huamin. I heard that on Christmas Eve, Huamin is holding a party at South Hill Manor. I heard that it's cosplay, Tang Chuan said excitedly. Chapter 1033. Oh, Lord Su's reaction was very indifferent. He knew that whatever Huamin held had nothing to do with him, and he wouldn't be invited. So, he really didn't invite you? No, Su Yu replied. Huamin is a bit too heartless, isn't he? Who was the one who found her the military doctor when her husband was in surgery? Who was the one who didn't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights, running back and forth in the hospital? Now that he's recovered, he's burning the bridge after crossing it? As Su Yu's best friend, Tang Chuan always thought that Huamin was heartless if he didn't reciprocate Su Yu's feelings. Even if they couldn't be lovers, they could still be friends. At the very least, he should thank Su Yu or something. However, Huamin didn't say anything, which made Tang Chuan feel bad for Su Yu. I was willing to do those things. What does it have to do with her? Don't put the blame on her. Su Yu even defended Huamin. Lord Su, I don't understand how you fell into this woman's trap. I don't understand either. Su Yu smiled bitterly. Damn it, you're so annoying. Even I feel bad seeing you like this. If it were up to me, you should hurry up and find a new woman. It's okay if you don't have feelings for her. Feelings come from sleeping with her. Lina, come here. Tang Chuan waved his hand and called over a sweet-looking girl with waist-length hair and a light blue bikini. Young Master Tang. The girl smiled sweetly. Come, keep Lord Su company. Tang Chuan pointed at Su Yu and said. The girl immediately understood. She walked behind Su Yu and massaged his shoulders. Su Yu immediately stood up awkwardly. It's okay. Young Master Su, did I do it wrong? Or was I not strong enough? The girl looked innocent. None of them. You guys have fun. I'm going back first. Hey, come back. I prepared a party for you tonight. Tang Chuan stood behind him. No matter what he said, Su Yu insisted on leaving. This was completely different from the previous Su Yu young Master Tang. I heard that young Master Su isn't like this. It was the first time for the girl to see Su Yu being so cold, so she was quite disappointed. If she could spend the night with Su Yu, she would be rich. It was said that many A-list actresses and Imperial Star used to be spoiled by Su Yu, so now they could do whatever they wanted in the entertainment industry. He wasn't like this in the past. Later, he met someone. Sigh, let's not talk about it. I feel sad for him. Tang Chuan sighed again and again. He felt sorry for Su Yu because he could not walk out of the emotional prison. In fact, Su Yu didn't feel sad at all. Instead, he felt that his life had become more fulfilling after meeting Huamin. In the past, he was like a walking corpse, living every day in a daze. No matter how much money he spent, he couldn't buy a little bit of happiness. Now, he had something to look forward to every day. Even if he just glanced at her Weibo, he would feel happy. He was like a teenager who had just fallen in love. Unlike others, Su Yu spent his youth in the army. There were no girls or school beauties there. There were only a group of strong men. They only faced hellish training and life and death tests. To him, Huamin was the first girl he fell in love with. It was like she was his first love. Although it was one-sided, it made him taste the joys and sorrows of life. Sometimes he greedily thought that if only God would give him a little chance. How good would it be to have Huamin by his side for a while, even if Huamin left in the end? But at least she would leave him with a good memory. Now, to Su Yu, the most precious memory was the time when he was recuperating at Southside. Later, he even thought about whether or not he should go back to Southside and injure his ligaments. However, Huamin was no longer the head nurse of the orthopedics department. Now, Huamin was the famous chief neurologist at Southside. This woman was so outstanding that she could shine with a dazzling light if she wasn't careful. South Hill Manor. After being tortured by Mr. Chin, Huamin felt a little sleepy. She closed her eyes and wanted to sleep. Suddenly, she heard Chin Chu ask, "Honey, should we invite Su Yu to the Christmas party?" Chapter 1034. Honey, did I hear you right? Huamin instantly stopped teleporting. She turned around and hugged Chin Chu. She pressed her face tightly against his chest. "No, but are you sure you're not jealous?" "Of course not." The corners of Chin Chu's lips curled up. "But why did you suddenly have this idea?" Huamin felt that Chin Chu and Su Yu were obvious rivals. Whether it was in terms of business or personal relationships, they were not friends. So, wouldn't Huamian feel bad inviting him over? "I just suddenly remembered that you invited so many people this time. Let's not talk about Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling. They're our best friends, but Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei. They seem to be friends with Su Yu too. Since they're all friends, why don't we invite them over to hang out? But won't you be unhappy?" Huamin was still a little worried. After all, Su Yu never hid his feelings for her, and Chin Chu always knew what he was thinking. Was it really a good idea to invite his love rival over? Chin Chu tightened his arms around Huamin's waist. He kissed her forehead intimately. "Your husband isn't a petty person. I can tell right from wrong. So you seem to have helped us a lot this time when I was unconscious. No matter what his intentions were, whether it was for you or for whatever reason, he still did so much for us. I'm not a heartless person, and I won't pretend that I didn't see it. So you didn't take advantage of me when I was unconscious, nor did he hit the company when they were down. He didn't use any other means to attack me or take revenge on me. I think he's a gentleman." Chin Chu shared his thoughts on Su Yu. "Su Yu is indeed a gentleman," Huamin admitted. The current Su Yu is a bit like Lu Xing in the past. Although they were enemies, they were brazen. Su Yu didn't know how to be secretive. Those who were most afraid of backstabbing were the ones who were most afraid of backstabbing. Therefore, Su Yu's character was still remarkable. "Since Song Yisher can come, why can't Su Yu come? Since it's an open party, it's not a big deal. Let's invite them together," Chin Chu suggested. "But I don't think he'll come," Huamin said slowly. She recalled that day at the hospital. Su Yu had clearly come, but he did not appear. It was as if he was avoiding her. After they recovered, they did not meet Su Yu face to face, nor did they interact on Weibo. Perhaps Su Yu had thought it through and did not want to continue to interfere in their relationship. So, Huamin felt that even if she invited him, he might not be able to come. Whether he comes or not is his business, but whether we invite him or not is our business. I, Chin Chu, am not a narrow-minded person. Even if we are rivals, Su Yu is definitely an opponent worthy of respect. Tolerance is the most important thing. Hubby, I really admire your breadth of mind." Huamin looked at Chin Chu with admiration in her eyes. She suddenly felt that her husband was so high and mighty. He was simply a perfect man. There were many types of men, but it was rare to find someone as magnanimous as Chin Chu. "Admire? Really? You're not trying to suck up to me?" Chin Chu looked at her with a puzzled smile. "Of course not, I swear." "Fine, I believe you. Since you admire me so much, I'll give you a chance." "What chance?" Huamin froze. "I'll give you a chance to take advantage of me. Let's do it again." After Chin Chu spoke, he suddenly picked up Huamin and placed her on top of him. She straddled his body. This position was filthy. Again? Let's not. I don't have any energy left. It's fine. Just sit, I'll move you." Huamin immediately covered her face with her hands. Even she felt her face burning. Mr. Chin was talking dirty again. Chapter 1035. The next morning, when Huamin woke up, the first thing she felt was an ache in her waist and back. Then she looked at the time on her phone and realized that it was already 9 a.m. She hadn't slept this late in a long time. Why did she sleep until the sun was shining on her? But she groggily turned around and didn't see Chin Chu. So she sent him a WeChat message. "Honey, did you go to work?" "Yeah, you're awake, honey." Qin Shu's tone was full of love. I slept for so long. Why didn't you wake me up? You were too tired, so I didn't have a heart to wake you up. Qin Shu smiled. How dare you say that? My waist is still sore. Huamin complained. She didn't know what happened last night, but Mr. Qin's animal instincts kicked in, and he went at it for a long time. In the end, Huamin begged for mercy. Now, she felt like her legs didn't belong to her anymore. It's okay. You don't have to go to work anyway. Take your vacation. What vacation? It's Christmas Eve today. I need to prepare the materials and decorate the house with everyone. We'll be waiting for them tonight. The party is tonight, and it's my first time hosting, so I can't embarrass myself. Okay. Do you need me to do anything? No, just get off work on time. Huamin smiled. Okay. See you tonight, honey. Good luck. For the first time, Qin Shu smiled and cheered for Huamin. His expression was so cute. Oh, right. Honey, who are we cosplaying as tonight? You decide. I'm fine with anything. Qin Shu wasn't very interested in these things, so he didn't want to make the decision himself. Huh. If you leave it to me, aren't you afraid that I'll dress you up as Spider-Man or something? Let me tell you, I'm very imaginative, and you'll die from shock. It's okay. You can dress me up as long as you like it. Qin Shu had already made up his mind to hand it over to Huamin, so Huamin didn't waste any more words with him. After waking up, Huamin chose a milky white thin sweater and a light pink cotton padded jacket. She looked very young and was still dressed like a high school student. Zhu Lingling had once told her, "Girl, your taste hasn't changed at all. The clothes you wore at the beginning of the first year of high school are the same as the ones you're wearing now." She was a person who didn't know how to dress herself up. Once there was any public event in the company, it was Qin Shu who arranged for the stylist. Usually, she was very casual and always dressed like the girl next door. She was different from Song Yishe. Song Yishe was a goddess, so she had always been noble and elegant. Zhu Lingling, on the other hand, was sexier. Low breasts and tight buttocks were her favorite. Jiang Xiaowei, who had a high EQ, was more intellectual. Most of the time, she was more elegant. After Huamin got dressed and washed up, she went downstairs for breakfast. As she ate, she told the people at home to clean up and empty the entire living room. She was waiting for the Christmas party tonight. Then, Huamin contacted GK's planning department and discussed the plan with them. Then, 5 people from the planning department went to buy raw materials, and the other 5 came to the house to decorate. Huamin thought that she should be able to get everything done in one day. The party didn't start until 7 p.m. anyway, so she still had a lot of time. Therefore, she drove to Phoenix Hill, where Enai Yang lived. "Sister Huamin, why are you here?" Enai Yang was pleasantly surprised when he saw Huamin. "Of course I'm here to see you. How's your recovery?" "I'm doing great. I'm getting moldy from staying here. Can you talk to President Qin and let me go back to work?" Enai Yang's surgery was very successful. After that, he recuperated in the mansion and didn't leave. He was bored out of his mind, so when he saw Huamin, he felt like he saw his savior. "Huh, I knew you were bored, so I'm here to invite you to my party." "Wow, what party? Hurry up and tell me." Enai Yang was suddenly very curious. Chapter 1036. It's a Christmas party where we'll be cosplaying as villains. Do you want to come? Whoa, 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 sounds so cool. And Ayong couldn't be happier. At his age, he loved all kinds of weird stuff, so he was very interested in cosplaying. Do you want to come? I have to come, it's awesome. I have a feeling that this will be the most unforgettable Christmas of my life. And Ayong clapped his hands and cheered, looking at his bright and handsome face. Huamin asked tentatively, "Have you been in contact with Xie Wan lately?" "Sis, why are you bringing up that scumbag?" And Yang's face immediately darkened when he heard the name Xie Wan. And Yang, don't talk about her like that. She is your mother. Mother? Ha! That word is too heavy. Does she deserve it? She's only the mother of that child, not mine. She didn't fulfill her responsibilities as a mother to me. I'm afraid she's ashamed of herself. And Yang sneered. Maybe she has her own difficulties, Huamin said tentatively. Difficulties? Ha! I don't think there's any reason for a mother to give up on her own son for so many years, not caring if he's dead or alive. Her heart must be made of steel, right? And Yang smiled bitterly. Seeing his strong reaction, Huamin didn't dare to bring it up again. Instead, she changed the topic. After New Year's Day, I'll let the company gradually restore your work. Because you're still injured, we'll take on some photo shoots for the next 6 months and release some new singles. Don't take any more fights or tours. Your health is the most important thing. Thank you, Sis Huamin. What are you thanking me for? You call me sis. How could I mistreat my own little brother? Huamin patted Yang's head lovingly. I'm so lucky to have met a big sister like you. And Yang smiled happily. With his dimples, he looked just like the boy next door. He didn't look like a superstar at all. No, I think I'm the lucky one to know you. Even my biological brother keeps asking you to sign autographs and send them to his friends. I don't even dare to post photos of us together. My WeChat moments and Weibo are all over the place. Then I'll blow one up for them now. After saying that, Yang naughtily took out his phone and took a group photo while hiding behind Huamin. Then, he took a picture and posted it on Weibo. Sister Huamin came to visit me personally. She even invited me to her party. Sure enough, after Yang posted it, there were 30 to 40,000 comments. His comment section was more harmonious. Most of them were true fans, therefore, everyone was the same. Boss, you're the best. I'm happy for Boss. Merry Christmas. Boss, you've lost weight again. Eat more meat. Look at you. You're not even as big as Sister Huamin's face. When Huamin saw this, she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was this a compliment or a compliment? After staying for a while, Huamin walked out and drove to the cafe. After Shui recovered, Huamin used her connections to send him to school. Xiaowan didn't sell scallion pancakes anymore. Instead, she found a respectable job. She was the head of cleaning at one of Hua Min's 13 shops. The monthly salary was good and the treatment was good. Most importantly, Xiaowan put in a lot of effort and kept the place clean. When Huamin walked into the cafe, everyone greeted her. Hello, a young lady. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. Huamin smiled slightly. A young lady? What would you like to drink? The manager asked carefully. A cup of hot mocha. Okay. Then, Huamin walked up to Xiaowan, who was cleaning on the second floor. Sister Xia. Doctor. When she saw Huamin, she immediately straightened her back. She was very reserved and showed her respect to Huamin. How is it? Are you used to it? It's great. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Do your job well. If you need anything, just let me know. Dr. Hua and Yang, Xiaowan stuttered. Chapter 1037. He's recovering well. I just came back from his place to tell you about it. That's good. How about Shui? How's he doing? Do you like school? Huamin asked with a smile. Xiaowan nodded vigorously. Yeah, I like it a lot. He even told me that he met a lot of new friends and classmates. That's good. Don't worry. I'll find a chance for you and Yang to meet. We'll try to resolve the conflict between you two as soon as possible. Okay. Xiaowan nodded. Huamin then had a cup of coffee. After inspecting the 13 stores, he left with satisfaction. Back then, he took back GK's 13 stores in a fit of pique with Song Yisher and ran it himself. Now, it had become the busiest street in the city and was filled with people every day. The sales volume was surprisingly good. Huamin was shocked when he saw the numbers. If things continued like this, she wouldn't need Qin Chu to support her. She would be a rich woman in the future. The TV station's finance channel had invited Huamin to do an interview several times to talk about his entrepreneurial experience. However, she politely declined. It wasn't because she was too pretentious or low-key. It was because she thought that the 13 stores could do well because they were her own stores and she didn't have to pay rent. Therefore, she didn't want to show off in the interview and talk about her experience. What experience could she have? She could only say that she was rich. Only by making money could she make money. That was the only way to survive in the rich circle. Huamin ran around outside the whole morning. At noon, he went to Sky Blessing Court to have lunch with his mother. When he finally arrived at South Hill Manor, it was already past 5 in the evening. GK's planning department was indeed an elite team. They finished everything in one day. Even the details that Huamin asked for were done perfectly. Huamin's eyes lit up. The entire living room was decorated in black. There were vintage candlesticks, pianos, telephones, and all sorts of other decorations. It was as if she had traveled back in time to 18th century Europe. The decorations matched the manor perfectly. The chandelier had been changed to a dark purple color, which added a lot of mystery to people. The Santa Claus at the door had changed from her usual red color to a black cloak, just like the witches in Harry Potter. She was also holding a broom, which was very cute. The mythical beast, the reindeer, had also turned into a black eagle, which was very visually stimulating. The green Christmas tree had turned dark gray, and the little colored lights hanging on it were also dark. It really was a villain's party. Everything was so dark. A young lady, isn't this arrangement a little too dark? The head of the planning department laughed awkwardly. No, I think it's great. Huamin nodded with satisfaction. Huamin gave the staff of the planning department a big red packet and told them to go out and have a big meal. After that, she looked at her watch. It was already 6 o'clock. It's too late. I have to go and do my makeup. She thought that since Qin Shu was about to get off work, she had to do her makeup and cosplay first. At this moment, she suddenly thought of a very important question, so she opened Weibo and sent a private message to Suyu. Are you there? Yes. Suyu replied almost instantly. Ever since he found out that Huamin also used Weibo, he was basically on Weibo 24/7. When he saw that she was suddenly talking to him, he was very surprised. There's something I want to talk to you about. What is it? Suyu pretended to be calm as he replied. I'm having a private party at my South Hill Manor tonight. The theme is to cosplay as villains. Are you interested in coming? Huamin asked carefully. So, are you inviting me now? Suyu was a little in disbelief. Yesterday, Tang Chuan had just finished complaining about Huamin, saying that Huamin was disloyal and kicking him to the curb. Today, Huamin invited him. If Tang Chuan was here, it would be a slap in the face. So will you come? Huamin asked softly. Chapter 1038. Suyu knew that he shouldn't go, because every time he saw Huamin, his heart would sink deeper. However, he couldn't help but agree because he wanted to see her too much. So he wasn't interested in parties or cosplay. The only thing that kept him going was that he wanted to see her. Hurry up, it's almost time. It starts at 7 p.m. You can still make it if you put on your makeup now. South Hill Manor. Got it, Suyu replied. Then, see you in a bit. Okay, see you in a bit. Suyu's gaze became gentle. The word see you in a bit sounded so nice coming from Huamin's mouth. Even after he put down his phone, Suyu still had a proud smile on his face and yes, boss. Cancel all the plans tonight. Boss, there are 2 important parties tonight. One is the 60th birthday of our business partner, President Liu, and the other is the 1-month-old celebration of Mr. Zhou's son. Both are very important. Before he could finish, Suyu interrupted him. I said cancel all of them. Don't make me repeat myself. And was slightly surprised, but then he nodded. Okay, boss, I'll arrange it right away. After leaving Imperial Star, Suyu sped all the way back to the Su family. Son, you're back so early. Are you having dinner at home? Mom, what kind of villain do you think I should play? Suyu asked excitedly. What are you talking about? Mrs. Su didn't understand at all. Forget it. I'll think of one myself. After speaking, Suyu jogged upstairs. In the past, his company often held cosplay parties, and he would sometimes join the fun. Therefore, he had a lot of costumes at home. After Huamin called Suyu, she started a 3-person group chat with Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling on WeChat while putting on her makeup. Huamin, is everything ready? Pretty girls. Jiang Xiaowei, I'm done. All that's left is my comrade, Old Wei. I'll be there soon. Don't worry, I won't be late. Zhu Lingling, I'm done too. I'll reach your house in about 10 minutes. It's time to witness a miracle. Huh. Huamin, Lingling, are you cosplaying as the white-boned spirit? Why do you make it sound so dangerous? Zhu Lingling, pfft. How is that possible? The white skeleton spirit is so ugly. It's just a pile of bones. I want it to be beautiful. Jiang Xiaowei. Mian, who's coming tonight? Let me know. Huamin, other than the three of us, there's also an I Yang. Mo, sure. Si Qian, Suyu. All right, there's also Song Yishu. Jiang Xiaowei. Wait, I can understand Suyu, but who the hell is Song Yishu? Zhu Lingling. Yeah, don't invite that scheming bitch. Is there something wrong with your brain? Huamin, I had no choice. If she wants to come, then so be it. Jiang Xiaowei. Damn, wait for me to torture her to death. Zhu Lingling. Yes, 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 me too. The three of us will work together and torture bitch Song to death. Jiang Xiaowei. But Mian, does Qin Shu know that you invited Suyu? Jiang Xiaowei was more meticulous, so she thought of this. Huamin, Mr. Qin asked me to invite him. Zhu Lingling and Jiang Xiaowei were both dumbfounded when they heard this. I don't understand what Mr. Qin is thinking, but since he invited him, then so be it. Huamin nodded and comforted himself. So, girl, who are you cosplaying as tonight? I'm curious, Zhu Lingling asked with a smile. Me too, Jiang Xiaowei chimed in. I'm not telling you. You'll know when you get here. Huamin purposely acted mysterious. Just then, she stood up and looked at herself in the mirror. She nodded in satisfaction. Honey, I'm back. Qin Shu's words got stuck in his throat before he could finish, because he wasn't sure if the person in front of him was his wife. Honey, are you surprised? Huamin pointed at her outfit and bit her lip with a subtle smile. Chapter 1039. To be honest, Qin Shu wasn't surprised, but he was a little shocked. He happily went home to see his wife after work, but when he opened the door, what the hell did he see? She didn't look like Huamin at all. She was wearing a red and black robe, the kind with the collar turned up. It was very cool. There was a lot of foundation on her face, and her lips were very, very red. Most importantly, there were two blinding zombie fangs. Her eyes were dark purple. Contact lenses? She wore a silver wig on top of her shoulder-length hair, the kind that reached her waist. She wore a small crown on top of her silver hair. But could someone tell him why the crown was black? She was cosplaying as a villain, right? Did she have to be so dark? When he entered the house, just now, when Qin Shu entered the living room, he thought he had traveled through time. It was dark, and even the candlesticks were eerie. He was indeed shocked. It seemed like Huamin had put in a lot of effort to prepare for this party. Honey, so you're cosplaying as a vampire count? Qin Shu was speechless. It was quite childish for an adult to cosplay as a vampire, but it wasn't scary. Huamin, on the other hand, was cute as a vampire. No, you're the vampire count. I'm cosplaying as the vampire countess, okay? Huamin said confidently. Okay, so you prepared this outfit for me? Qin Shu walked over and smiled. Yeah, if you're not satisfied, you can think of something else. Anyways, I'm a fan of vampires, so I'm good at cosplaying as one. Huamin was determined to be a vampire, so she didn't care what Qin Shu thought of her. Okay, I'm willing to risk my life to accompany you. Qin Shu loved his wife so much. How could he refuse her kindness? Therefore, he also quickly changed his clothes and put on makeup. When Qin Shu was done, Huamin was stunned when he looked up at him. She was also wearing a black robe. She also had purple contact lenses and crystal white dentures. Her hair was short and silver. His eyes were cold and arrogant, as usual. She didn't think that Mr. Qin's rare cosplay as a vampire count would be so stunning. I'll give you 9 points for this outfit. I'm afraid you'll get too proud. Huamin gave her a thumbs up. Their outfits matched each other very well. At first glance, one could tell that they were a couple. There was simply no sense of disharmony. My beautiful vampire lady, please come downstairs with me. Our guests are coming. Qin Shu extended his hand in invitation. Huamin smiled and put his hand in Qin Shu's. They walked downstairs hand in hand. The butler, Uncle Li, and the maids also wore black robes to match the atmosphere today. Wearing the vampire's fake teeth was simply too adorable. It was almost time. Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling just said in the WeChat group that they were almost here. Huamin was about to call them to hurry them up when he saw a black Jaguar parked in the parking lot in front of the door. The moment Gao ran and Zhu Lingling got out of the car, Huamin was shocked. It turned out that Zhu Lingling really wasn't joking. She didn't cosplay as the White Bone Demon, but she really did cosplay as Snow White's stepmother, the Heartless Queen. She was cosplaying as Angelina Jolie in Sleeping Charm, and she was dressed in a black robe. Not only that, but she also had 2 black horns on her head. It was the kind of outfit that would shock people to death. The good thing was that Lingling was very pretty. Although she was shocked, she was still beautiful. Ahem, you're probably the most beautiful Heartless Queen I've ever seen, haha. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. So what are you cosplaying as? Qin Shu looked at Gao Ran and asked. Huamin also looked at Gao Ran. He was also wearing a black robe and a golden mask on his face. It was like a mirror that reflected light. It was very novel. Can't you guys tell? I'm obviously very compatible with Venomous Tongueling. Gao Ran was a little speechless. So you're the queen's husband, the king? Huamin asked tentatively. Chapter 1040. No, he's the magic mirror that accompanies the queen, Zhu Lingling added. Huamin, Qin Shu, the couple was smart, but they didn't realize that Gao Ran was cosplaying as a magic mirror. Then, Zhu Lingling raised her finger and lifted Gao Ran's chin. Magic mirror, who is the most beautiful woman in the world? Queen, you are the most beautiful woman in the world, Gao Ran flattered. Zhu Lingling nodded in satisfaction. Then Gao Ran added, but Snow White is 1,000 times more beautiful than you. Fuck you, damn police officer, I'm going to kill you. Zhu Lingling chased after Gao Ran and ran around the living room. This couple was the kind that was very familiar with each other and treated South Hill Manor as their own home. Huamin and Qin Shu laughed. Just then, a luxurious Mercedes-Benz RV stopped in the parking lot. Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao stepped out of the car. Wei Liao used to drive a Bentley a lot, but ever since he got together with Jiang Xiaowei, he changed his taste. Especially after she got pregnant, Wei Liao basically drove a RV because it was spacious and comfortable. It could accommodate Jiang Xiaowei lying down and sitting down. Wow. Honey, guess what they're cosplaying as? Huamin excitedly held onto Qin Shu's hand. Ahem, you should tell them. I think it's childish. Qin Shu didn't have the heart to tell them when he saw Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao's costumes. Compared to these cruel people, he and Huamin were much more loving as the vampire count. These people are going to ruin the cosplay, okay? When Jiang Xiaowei came in, she was wearing a red cloak, a white fur collar, a yellow crown, black fishnet stockings, and red high heels. She looked extremely flirtatious. She had long, dark gray curly hair, purple eyeshadow, and a beauty mark at the edge of her eye. Most importantly, she was holding a mini frying pan in her hand. So, Xiaowei, are you cosplaying as Red Wolf? Huamin asked weakly. Smart. Jiang Xiaowei answered matter-of-factly. Compared to Red Wolf, Gray Wolf didn't seem to have any special features. Wei Liao was wearing a cute little hat, a gray wig, and a dark gray vest. He even had a long, unique scar on his face. Compared to Red Wolf, this Wei Liao was definitely a little weak. Haha, welcome Gray Wolf and his wife. Huamin applauded, thinking that Red Wolf's character was perfect for her temperament. Even Wei Liao thought that she was just playing herself. Okay? Your vampire outfits are so cool. I give you full marks. Jiang Xiaowei liked Huamin's costume. The cool vampire couple was the ultimate characters in Western fairy tales. After the 4 of them chatted for a while, Huamin helped Jiang Xiaowei sit down and asked the maid to pour them a glass of warm water. Xiaowei, you're pregnant. Why are you wearing so much makeup? Is it okay? It's okay. I've asked around. This is harmless makeup, so it's fine. That's good. Zhu Lingling, that's the queen of the sleeping spell. Haha, she looks like it. Jiang Xiaowei burst out laughing when she saw Zhu Lingling not far away. Yeah, She's always been a fan of Angelina Jolie. That's why she's so desperate to play this role. It's funny, Huamin explained at this moment, a white Maserati stopped on the lawn in front of them. Hua Xiqian and Mo Shuer came together. As soon as they got out of the car, everyone fell silent. This outfit is so cool, right? Chapter 1041. Hua Xiqian was wearing a bright yellow dragon robe with 9 dragons embroidered on it. On his head, he wore an emperor's hat. Most importantly, he even put on special makeup and used a fake hair stick to his hair, making it into a braid unique to the Qing dynasty. Even his shoes matched him perfectly. It was obvious that he was dressed in high-quality clothes that only the crew would wear. Hua Xiqian held a fan in his hand and fanned himself as he walked. He looked like a romantic emperor. When Huamin first saw him, he was a bit confused. He didn't know which emperor he was cosplaying. Xuanji? Kangxi? Yongzheng? Qianlong? Jiaqing? Daoguang? Xianfeng? Guangxu? There were too many emperors in the Qing dynasty. Even Huang Taiji and Nurhasai were dressed like this, so it was hard to tell them apart. However, when he saw Mo Shuer, he immediately knew who she was. This was because Mo Shuer's outfit and appearance made her look exactly like an imperial concubine. Even the armor she was wearing was exactly the same. Damn, Mo Shuer is so beautiful in ancient costumes. Even Zhu Lingling exclaimed. If Mo Shuer was cosplaying as concubine Hua, then Hua Xiqian was definitely Yongzheng. When the two of them walked in, Huamin walked up to them to greet them. You two are dressed so formally. Awesome. Huamin gave them a thumbs up. So, my little sister, are you playing a vampire today? Hua Xiqian looked at Huamin with endless gentleness in his eyes. It was the first time he saw Huamin dressed like this, and he looked really cute. Yeah, I've liked zombie teeth since I was young. Finally, I can fulfill a small wish. Huamin smiled shyly. Mo Shuer reached out and touched Hua Min's little crown. She smiled and said, "It's very pretty. I like it a lot." "Thank you, Shuer. Come in, sit down, and have something to drink." After Hua Xiqian and Mo Shuer walked in, the atmosphere became even livelier. Hua Xiqian walked over and looked at Qin Shu. "Was this your idea?" "Yeah." Qin Shu nodded, but he didn't seem to like talking to Hua Xiqian. "She's so capricious, but she's even cuter when she's capricious," Hua Xiqian sighed. Qin looked at Qin Shu, was captivated by Hua Xiqian Huamin. The next person to enter was Ni Yang, who came with Sister Ingzi. She drove Ni Yang's own Porsche sports car. It was dark red, very beautiful, and very eye-catching. Ni Yang's cosplay was very cool. He was the most eye-catching character in Grave Robbers Chronicles. Zhang Qiling Hua Xiqian was wearing a black hoodie with a large hoodie over his head, making him look even more mysterious. His right hand was bandaged with white gauze, and he held a black knife in his other hand. As his assistant, Sister Ingzi was also dressed in a standard grave robber's outfit, which was all black. It was a perfect match for today's theme. Huamin patted Ni Yang's head lovingly. "You little brat, why are you dressed up like this? Are you trying to steal the show? Sister Huamin, you're so cool as a vampire. I love you." And Yang reached out and touched Huamin's fake teeth. He was having a lot of fun. "You two should go in, it's cold outside." Huamin quickly took care of them. Huamian looked at the time and realized that it was almost 7:30 p.m. Everyone was here. The only ones who didn't come were Su Yu and Song Yishur. Did the two of them change their minds at the last minute? "Why don't I see Lord Su?" Jiang Xiaowei asked loudly. Wei Liao froze. Did Lord Su say he's coming? Obviously, he didn't know. Jiang Xiaowei nodded. Yeah, Mian said in the WeChat group that Lord Su is coming. Before Huamin could say anything, the black Lamborghini's 6th Elemental slammed on the brakes and stopped in the parking lot in front of the door. His speed was astonishingly fast. No one saw how he drove in, but the car was already parked. As expected of a top-notch sport car, it was just that awesome. Compared to before, all the other cars were nothing but trash. Wow, it really is Lord Su's car. Wei Liao was obviously a little excited. He was originally here to accompany his wife and wasn't familiar with the others. Now that Suyu was here, everything was fine. He just had one more person to accompany him. When Suyu got out of the car, he walked very slowly. When the people inside saw him through the glass, they were all stunned. What is Lord Su cosplaying as? Wei Liao was also confused. He had gone to many cosplay parties with Suyu before, but he had never seen Suyu dressed like this. Chapter 1042. Everyone watched in silence as Suyu walked in step by step. He wore a luxurious black suit with a pair of black wings on his back. The edges of his wings glowed with a golden light. His long black hair flowed down like a waterfall, and his 10 fingers were covered with black nails. It was definitely a dark style. He wore a silver mask that only covered half of his face. His eyes were covered with red-colored contact lenses, creating a scarlet effect. There was a red gem embedded in his forehead, which was especially beautiful. Huamin looked at Suyu tonight. He exuded an extremely seductive beauty. Yes, that's right. He was described as seductive and beautiful. At this moment, Huamin felt that the character he was cosplaying as today was the pinnacle of villains. No one could surpass this person. Lord Su is so seductive. Jiang Xiaowei exclaimed. Holy shit, his mask and wings are so beautiful. Zhu Lingling also looked at him in a daze. Does anyone know who he's cosplaying as? Gaoran thought that although Suyu's costume was amazing, who was he cosplaying as? He had never seen such a costume before, so he didn't know immediately. Qin Shu, on the other hand, was relatively calm. He quietly watched as Suyu walked in step by step. Huamin, let's make a bet. I think he's cosplaying as Zeus, Jiang Xiaowei said with a smile. With Suyu's arrogant personality, he should be cosplaying as the Supreme Emperor. Wei Liao reminded her, slightly, Zeus is the king of the gods. He's the king of the 3rd generation in ancient Greek mythology. He's the head of the 12 gods of Olympus and the supreme god who rules the universe. I know all this. You don't have to explain it to me, Jiang Xiaowei replied. I know you understand, but you have to know that Zeus is a positive character. He's a god, and today's theme is villains. I don't think Suyu is a Mary Sue. He knows that today is a villain's cosplay party, but he still pretends to be innocent, Wei Liao explained. Jiang Xiaowei was immediately a loss for words. Indeed, how could she have overlooked this point? She only thought that Suyu was cosplaying as an ancient Greek god and forgot that today was a villain's banquet. Huamin, do you know? Jiang Xiaowei felt that Huamin was experienced and knowledgeable, so he might be able to tell. Is cosplaying as Lucifer, Huamin slowly. Fallen angel Lucifer? Gaoran froze and asked with uncertainty. Okay. Huamian nodded. Who's Lucifer? How come I've never heard of this person? Zhu Lingling was also confused. Hua Xiqian smiled and said, as expected of Suyu, he's amazing, cosplaying as Lucifer. That's an amazing cosplay, young Master Su. You're awesome. And Mo Shui couldn't help but praise. Can someone tell me who Lucifer is? Zhu Lingling asked curiously again. Qin Shu walked out from behind the crowd and slowly said, Lucifer was a god in Roman mythology, but later, he fell and became a demon. He used to be a god, then became a demon. What did this person go through? Zhu Lingling didn't know much about European, Greek, or Roman mythology, so she didn't know anything about it. However, she knew that Suyu's cosplay wasn't simple, and he was incredibly handsome. Just the huge wings, the silver mask, and the crimson eyes alone were enough to stun everyone present. Huamin, can you explain to everyone? Jiang Xiaowei took a sip of water from the table and said, out of everyone present, only Qin Shu, Jiang Xiaowei, and Huamin knew about Lucifer's background. This was because the 3 of them were all researchers of ancient Roman mythology. Since the others didn't know, they naturally had to explain. Chapter 1043. Huamin nodded and then slowly said, Legend has it that Lucifer was once God's most favored angel. He was called the Seraphim and was envied by all the angels. He often appeared in the temple and accompanied God. Many fairies liked him, but he was unmoved. Later, he fell in love with a girl during a mission, but that girl came from hell and was a demon. In order to be with her, Lucifer betrayed God and cut off his angel wings to accompany the girl to live with the demons. However, he was not accepted by Satan and was rejected by all the demons in the demon race. But for the sake of love, he did not hesitate. Later, the woman he loved betrayed him and got entangled with the demons. Lucifer was heartbroken and left the demon race, but he was chased all the way. When he finally escaped from the demon race's hell, he was surrounded by his former colleagues, the angels. The main angel had always been jealous that Lucifer was once favored by God, so he was ruthless and swore to destroy him. Thus, under the pursuit of the demons and angels, Lucifer cast a spell and burned himself alive. He was proud and arrogant, and even if he died, he would die alone. He did not need anyone to do anything. Everyone thought that he was going to be destroyed, but unexpectedly, in the raging fire, in excruciating pain, he was reborn. This time, his wings turned black and his eyes turned blood red. His magic power increased greatly, and with anger and hatred, he buried all the angels and demons that tried to kill him. From then on, he traveled between heaven and hell alone. He always waited quietly by himself, but no one knew what he was waiting for. He became the loneliest person in the world. He had no lover, no family, no friends, only one person. Later on, he was called the Fallen Angel. After listening to Huamin's explanation, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. It turned out that this was such a complicated character, and he even had such a sad but beautiful story. While they were talking, Suyu had already walked in. Huamin walked over and welcomed him as the host. He took the initiative to extend his hand. "Welcome, Lucifer." Suyu looked at Huamin, and the expression in his eyes gradually softened. He smiled, then reached out and shook Huamin's hand. At the moment of contact, Suyu felt as if an electric current was flowing through his entire body. But after a short handshake, he let go, very gentlemanly. Even if he wanted to hold Huamin's hand for a while longer, he would never embarrass Huamin out of selfishness. "Lord Su, you did a great job today." Wei Liao gave him a thumbs up. Suyu smiled and walked towards Wei Liao. "Mian, can we start now?" Seeing that most of the guests had arrived, Qin Shu was about to order the maids to serve the dishes. Huamin replied, "Song Yisher isn't here yet." "Song Yisher, did you invite her?" Hua Xiqian found it a little funny. "She probably won't come." "If it were me, I wouldn't come either. Isn't she asking for a snub?" Zhu Lingling said. Just as they were talking, Jiang Xiaowei saw another car outside the window. It was a black Rolls-Royce. It seemed like Song Yisher had made up her mind to be in the limelight today. "No need to ask, she's here." Jiang Xiaowei pointed out the window and said. Just then, everyone looked over. The black Rolls-Royce stopped in front of the door, and the driver got out to open the door. Song Yisher slowly walked out of the car. Her appearance was truly shocking. Jiang Xiaowei sneered. "I knew she would be like this today." Chapter 1044. That bitch really can't change her ways. She's still trying to play tricks at a time like this. Disgusting, Zhu Lingling said. Song Yisher's outfit was grand and beautiful. She wasn't cosplaying as a villain, but rather she was dressed as a mermaid. She was wearing a dark blue dress with a transparent lace hemline. Below was a fishtail skirt that wrapped around her hips. The skirt was sewn with countless crystals that shone with golden light. She wore a blonde wig with long hair and held a golden scepter in her hand. She had exquisite makeup on her face and was dressed like a mermaid princess. She was beautiful, but she wasn't a villain. So she's not here to attend the party, but to participate in a beauty pageant. Mo Shui sneered. "Okay, the scheming bitch is here. Everyone can fight as much as you want. No need to hold back." Jiang Xiaowei rubbed her palms together as if she wanted to have a good fight with this woman. She's here to be tortured. Damn it. Zhu Lingling didn't like Song Yishi's appearance and cursed. Mian, did you tell Song Yishi the theme of today's party? Hua Xiqian looked at Huamin with a smile. I did, Huamin replied calmly. Since he invited her, he wouldn't be so bad as to not tell her the theme. However, she didn't respect the host and didn't dress according to the rules. Was it really okay for her to pretend to be a mermaid princess among so many bad guys? Qin Shu didn't even bother to look at her and said, Uncle Li, get ready. Let's eat. Yes, sir. Uncle Li followed Qin Shu's instructions and went to the kitchen to prepare the dishes. Song Yishi walked in on her crystal-high heels and smiled shyly. Sorry, am I the last to arrive? It's okay. It hasn't started yet. Huamin chuckled. Miss Song doesn't seem to understand. I remember Huamin saying that this is the villain's Christmas party, right? Is it really okay for you to pretend to be a mermaid? Jiang Xiaowei made the first move. Huamin did say that, but I really don't know which villain to cosplay as. After all, I've never played something like this before. Also, Huamin never said that I couldn't cosplay as a good character. Song Yishi smiled sweetly as if she was innocent. She also emphasized that Huamin did not say that she was not allowed to dress up as a mermaid. It's okay, as long as you like it. Everyone, take a seat. We can start eating now. After Huamin finished speaking, everyone took their seats. Uncle Li and the maids began to serve the dishes. Huamin was very generous. He prepared sirloin steak, foie gras, caviar, fruit salad, Boston lobster, stewed clams with papaya, abalone rice. Everyone was presented with an exquisite set meal that tasted amazing. Oh my God, did your chef make this? Jiang Xiaowei exclaimed. Yeah, his cooking is on par with the chefs at five-star hotels. It's so authentic. Because Jiang Xiaowei was pregnant, her appetite was especially good. She could eat a lot. Wei Liao quickly handed her a tissue. Slow down a little. You don't have to eat. I'll give you mine too. Don't rush. Huh. There's a lot in the kitchen. Everyone, eat as much as you want. Bring out the red wine. Qin Shu ordered. Then, Uncle Li went to bring out a box of red wine and placed a bottle next to everyone. Qin Shu never spent as much money as Su Yu, but he was definitely a super rich person. A bottle of wine cost more than 200,000, but he was so generous that he could give everyone a bottle. Zhu Lingling held the bottle and looked it over. For an alcoholic like her, she loved it so much that she couldn't put it down. At the long dining table, two people sat across from each other. Qin Shu and Huamin sat at the head of the table, facing each other. Hua Xiqian and Imo Shui. Ai Yang and Sister Ingzi. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling. Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei. In the end, only Su Yu and Song Yishi were left. The 12 of them were very neat. However, Su Yu seemed to be very impatient as he sat across from Song Yishi. He didn't even raise his head to look at her. He didn't even remember Song Yishi's name before. He didn't have a good impression of her at all. After the maids filled everyone's glasses with wine, everyone raised their glasses. Come. To thank Huamin and Qin Shu for their hospitality, let's drink first. Jiang Xiaowei was the happiest. Suddenly, Huamin said, wait a second. Chapter 1045. What's wrong? Qin Shu looked at her with concern. Uncle Li, give me some water. Xiaowei can't drink red wine. Luckily, Huamin reacted quickly. Otherwise, Jiang Xiaowei would have gotten away with it. I'll only drink a little, Jiang Xiaowei whined. No, you're pregnant. You have to think about the baby. Huamin was firm. Then can I drink fruit juice? Jiang Xiaowei pouted. No, there's preservatives in fruit juice. You can only drink water, Huamin said fiercely. As expected, Jiang Xiaowei wilted. Uncle Li quickly took away Jiang Xiaowei's wine and gave her a big glass of water. Wei Liao looked at Huamin gratefully. You're the best. If it were me, my head would have exploded with a frying pan. After Wei Liao finished speaking, everyone burst into laughter. Song Yishi wasn't familiar with everyone, so she didn't seem to fit in. During dinner, everyone took out their phones to take photos and post them on Weibo and WeChat. Huamin posted a group photo and then another photo with Qin Chu. It was very sweet. However, after posting it on Weibo, Huamin's true fans couldn't stand it. Some people were praising the vampire couple for their love. Half of them insisted on why the mermaid princess seemed so out of place in the line of people from the dark school. Everyone was bad. She was the only good person. What a bitch. Dr. Hua, why did you bring your love rival to your house? You have to be careful. Mistresses are everywhere these days. Someone was surprised. Wow, Dr. Hua and Lord Su are in the same frame. What a rare sight. Huamin didn't bother to reply. Song Yisher did not stay idle either. She also took a selfie and posted it on Weibo. But please note that she only sent it to herself. She only said, "I'm attending a cosplay convention. What do you think of my outfit?" Then, the brainless fans below exploded. Full marks, full marks, full marks. She's already unbelievably beautiful. Goddess, you are so beautiful. You are as beautiful as an angel. Song Goddess, your little mermaid is so beautiful. I want to save her as my desktop. Goddess, Goddess, you're always so beautiful and charming. I love you. I'm already so beautiful that I'm crying. Like me if you like the song Goddess. Your Highness, please accept my kneel. Goddess, please debut. Once you debut, I guarantee that all the female celebrities in the entertainment industry will become your side dishes. That's right, that's right. Mo, Shui, Jin Tong, Annie Liang, they were all crushed by you. Most of them were flattering her. Some passers-by even asked, "Huh?" Dr. Hua and Dr. Jiang posted this picture, but they are all cosplaying bad guys. Why are you the only good guy? That's so strange. Thus, the passers-by and Song Goddess fans started arguing again. What does it have to do with you guys? My goddess doesn't look like a bad guy, and she won't cosplay as a bad guy. Only those with a dark heart can cosplay as a bad guy. This sentence angered Huamin's fans, Jiang Shaowei's fans, and Su Yu's fans. The four fans started arguing. It was extremely lively, but Song Yisher didn't care. In her eyes, those fans were just a bunch of idiots. She really thought of herself as a high and mighty goddess. During the banquet, Song Yisher looked at Qin Chu lovingly and asked, "Oh right, Qin Chu, how are your injuries?" Chapter 1046. It's done. Thank you, Qin Chu replied distantly. Then, he quietly picked up food for Huamin. He took care of her meticulously. Then, Su Yu raised his glass in disdain and said, "Come, mermaid princess, let me toast you." "I'm sorry, I can't drink too much. I'm allergic to alcohol." Song Yisher smiled as she rejected Su Yu's toast. Hua Xiqian stood up from his seat and walked over, regardless of whether Song Yisher was willing or not. He put his arm around her shoulder and took a selfie from behind her. Then he posted it on Weibo. The entire process took less than 10 seconds. Song Yisher didn't even have time to resist. "President Hua, he's really interesting." "Ha! He came out of nowhere and scared me." Song Yisher smiled awkwardly. Mo Shui looked at her and sneered. "President Hua has always been like this. You'll have to get used to it." At this moment, Hua Xiqian also posted on Weibo, "I bumped into the song goddess at a party. She's really beautiful. Out of all the villains, she's such a gentle and cute character. What a weirdo." Then, a smart fan immediately asked, "President Hua, are you a high-level hater?" Hua Xiqian smiled and didn't respond. Then, Jiang Shaowei suggested, "Let's play a game." "Sure, how do we play?" Zhu Lingling was a very curious person. As expected, she was very cooperative with Jiang Shaowei. There's a popular phrase on a certain forum. It goes like this: "I still like you a lot, just like XXXXX. You can fill in whatever you want. Then, we'll choose someone who's really good and they'll perform. What do you think?" "Sure." Gao Ran nodded. He thought it would be fun. Everyone else also nodded in agreement. "Shaowei, since you suggested it, you should go first." Huamin chuckled. "All right, then I'll start first." Everyone. After that, Jiang Xiaowei cleared her throat and looked at Wei Liao seriously. I still like you very much. You're like the sun, the moon, and the stars forever. Wei Liao looked at Jiang Xiaowei with a gentle gaze, and the two of them instantly began to torture PDA. Wei Liao, you name one. The two of you will be facing each other, Suyu suggested. Wei Liao also looked at Jiang Xiaowei and replied almost without hesitation, I still like you very much. You're like blood spilling onto the earth. I'm cold, and you're beautiful. After saying this, Dr. Jiang, who had always been strong, actually blushed. Everyone joined in the commotion. Io, so sweet. Gao Ran, you do it. Huomin nodded. Gao Ran was slightly nervous. Then, he looked at Zhu Lingling across from him shyly. I still like you very much. You're like a noisy secret. Thousands of words. Everyone immediately clapped. They didn't think that as a police officer, he would be so eloquent and eloquent. Lingling, it's your turn. Huomin was looking forward to what Lingling, who had always been carefree, was going to say. Zhu Lingling thought hard for 10 seconds. Finally, she had an idea. She pointed at Gao Ran and said, I still like you very much. You're like a shrew, unreasonable. After she said this, everyone burst into laughter. Zhu Lingling, you did it on purpose, didn't you? Gao Ran sweated profusely. Who would confess like this? He was so poetic just now, but her words instantly lowered his level. Okay, I'm done. Aren't you guys forcing me to say something beyond my ability? Everyone knows that I'm not very eloquent and can't even compare to you, straight-A students. So, it's already good that I can say it. Huomin, hurry up. You and Mr. Qin do one. Huomin won. Huomin won. Everyone clapped and cheered. Huomin smiled and looked at Qin Shu. Chapter 1047. Huomin thought for a moment and blurted out, I still like you a lot. The willows move and the cicadas cry. The sun sets and the tide. I can't control myself. Good. Gao Ran led the way and applauded Huomin. My little sister is so artistic. Even her words are so beautiful. Huasiqin commented as he held a glass of red wine in his hand. Before anyone could call his name, Qinshu looked at Huomin lovingly and replied, I still like you a lot. You're like the stars that travel through the night for billions of years without a single complaint. Holy shit, that's awesome, so magnificent. Gao Ran and Wei Liao both gave Qin Chu a thumbs up. And Aiyang, you do one. Huomin smiled at An Aiyang. I still like you a lot. You're like the rain falling from the clouds, drizzling bit by bit, An Aiyang said. Sister Ingzi immediately said, a young lady, I won't join in the fun. I really don't know how to. Then Shui, or we'll do it. Huomin tilted his head and looked at Mo. Shui? She elegantly put down her chopsticks and looked at Huasiqian affectionately. I still like you a lot. You're like the petals that fall all over the ground, leaving no gaps. I still like you a lot. You're like the yellowed bridge in the old story, half deaf and half mute. Huasiqian immediately replied before anyone could call his name. Just then, Wei Liao looked at Suyu. Lord Su, it's your turn. He lowered his head and didn't look at Song Yishur, who was sitting across from him. He slowly said, I still like you a lot. You're like the storm that passes through the sky. Not bad, not bad. Everyone praised. Finally, Song Yishur was left. She tilted her head and looked at Qin Shu, who was not far away. Then, she said gently, I still like you very much. You're like the wind, traveling 8,000 miles without asking when you'll return. There was nothing wrong with what she had just said, but the problem was that no one liked her. She was the public enemy. When Jiang Xiaowei heard what she said, she immediately smiled. What are you laughing at? Song Yishur looked at Jiang Xiaowei with some displeasure. From the perspective of physics, if the wind travels 8,000 miles per hour, it will take at most 2 months. So, why don't you just change it to I still like you very much, at most 2 months? After Jiang Xiaowei finished speaking, everyone laughed in low voices. Song Yishur's expression immediately changed. She didn't expect that Jiang Xiaowei wouldn't give her any face. She openly refuted her and rejected her, she was not someone to be trifled with. So she asked directly, Dr. Jiang, is there some misunderstanding between us? Misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? Do I know you that well? Jiang Xiaowei asked nonchalantly. Song Yisher was immediately speechless. Ahem. Slightly. You should eat more. Wei Liao felt that it was quite awkward for his wife to argue with someone else. Okay, everyone, let's vote. Who said the best? Let's vote. The one with the most votes wins, Zhu Lingling suggested. I vote for Qin Shu, Gao Ran said. I vote for Huamin, Zhu Lingling said. In the end, everyone gave their opinions after checking the votes. Huamin and Qin Shu had the highest votes. Huamin had one more vote than Qin Shu. This was because Hua Xiqian and Su Yu both voted for Huamin. So, Ms. Huamin, please perform for us. After Jiang Xiaowei finished speaking, everyone immediately applauded. Hey, I really don't know how to do anything, haha. Honey, do you want to sing for them? Qin Shu asked with a smile. I don't want to sing. I don't want to scare them. Huamin knew that she wasn't good at music and was often out of tune. Therefore, she was very self-aware. There are 2 grand pianos in the living room. Sister Huamin, why don't you play for us? N.I. Yang was very interested in the instruments and immediately suggested. Piano? I haven't played in a long time. Huamin smiled embarrassedly. It's okay. Even if you play 2 tigers, we won't mind. Gaoran looked at Huamin and said with a smile, Huamin, why don't you play Reminiscences of Don Juan for us? I want to hear it. Song Yisher smiled. Reminiscences of Don Juan? It's on the 10 most difficult piano pieces in the world. Miss Song, does your mother know that you're making things difficult for others? Jiang Xiaowei coldly glanced at Song Yisher's face. But Huamin is a genius. She should know how to play it, right? Song Yisher was still smiling like a blooming flower, but her expression was infuriating. Chapter 1048. Without waiting for anyone else to speak, Song Yisher smiled and said, But Huamin, if you don't know how to play, no one will blame you. After all, you're not a professional musician, and you've never studied abroad. It's normal that you haven't heard of Master Franz Liszt. Song Yisher felt that Huamin might not even know who Franz Liszt was, let alone play his classic Memories of Don Juan. Everyone present could tell that Song Yisher looked down on Huamin's education and erudition. Qin Shu frowned slightly. She stood up and was about to ask the guest to leave. However, Huamin pressed her shoulder to stop her husband from getting angry. Qin Shu saw that Huamin was very calm and knew that she knew what was going on. However, Qin Shu had never seen Huamin play the piano in all these years because she had very little contact with it. She was poor in the past, so she had never bought a piano. Later, when she grew up and studied medicine, she did not have the opportunity to learn. She might be able to play a normal song, but Memories of Don Juan was a song that was not difficult at all. Even a piano teacher would not be able to perform it smoothly, let alone a non-professional like Huamin. She laughed when that bitch Song Yisher said that she did not know Franz Liszt. Huamin stood up, calmly looked around the room, and slowly said, Franz Liszt, full name Franz Liszt, born on October 22nd, 1811, is a famous Hungarian composer, a great romantic master, and a piano genius. Memories of Don Juan, which was adapted from Mozart, is the most famous. Because of the long span of notes and the tight rhythm, very few people are willing to perform it. So far, only the top pianist in the country has played it once. Miss Song, you're my guest today, and as the host, I will definitely fulfill your wish, but I have a request. What request? Song Yisher looked at Huamin in confusion. I want you to play with me. Do you dare? Huamin smiled provocatively. There were 2 tripod pianos in the living room, one black and one white. Huamin suggested that the 2 of them play together. Undoubtedly, they wanted to compete. Everyone looked at Song Yisher, wondering if she would dare to accept the challenge. Okay. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Song Yisher had been learning the piano since she was a child, and she had never given up all these years. He had played Don Juan's Memories a few times, so he was full of confidence. I have a feeling that Huamin is going to torture bitch Song, Jiang Xiaowei said with a smile. Zhu Lingling also cheered for Huamin. Huamin, don't embarrass yourself. Although she didn't understand any piano music, she believed that Huamin wasn't called a genius for nothing, right? Song Yisher got up and sat down beside the white piano in her dazzling fishtail dress. Huamin came to the black piano in his black vampire costume. We'll start in 5 seconds. Do you have a problem with that? Huamin looked at Song Yisher. I have no problem with that. Anytime. Song Yisher's face was full of pride. Jiang Xiaowei had a selfish idea. She took out her phone and started recording. Huamin and Song Yisher silently chanted for 5 seconds. Then his fingers flew across the piano keys. The speed of his fingers was simply dazzling. And it was getting faster and faster. Song Yisher had just played a bar when she realized that not only did Huamin know how to play Franz Liszt's famous song, but he also seemed to be familiar with it. While she was distracted, her speed slowed down, and Huamin overtook her. The rhythm was slightly disrupted. Song Yisher panicked and immediately chased after him. But no matter how hard she chased, she couldn't catch up. Huamin finished playing in one breath. She was still stuck at the end of the third bar. Huamin didn't wait for her to get up. He stood up and bowed. Thank you, everyone. I've embarrassed myself. I've known her for so long, but I didn't know that she was a piano expert. Qinshu, did you know? Gao Ran looked at Qinshu and asked curiously. Chapter 1049. It's my first time hearing it too. Qinshu looked at Huamin gently. She was as serious as a little girl, competing with Song Yisher in a huff. After she won, she smiled proudly, as if she had returned to the competitive Huamin of her youth. I don't understand, but I know that our Mian won. Yay! Zhu Lingling made a peace sign. Isn't it a bit immoral for so many of us to bully one person? Wei Liao thought that it was a bad idea to bully Song Yisher with a group of people. She's a bitch, so she'll be punished, okay? If she didn't cause trouble, would Mian bully her? Jiang Xiaowei sneered. Suyi was shocked. Ever since he was young, he had received all kinds of musical training, including piano, violin, and saxophone. During GK's 30-year anniversary, Suyi performed a piano piece, playing and singing at the same time, and instantly gained countless fans. However, he didn't think that the old-fashioned and low-key Huamin would be so talented in music. She sang off-key, but the piano was so smooth. Did Huamin learn to play? Gao Ran was starting to doubt his life. She didn't. If I remember correctly, when she was in high school, the teacher taught her a few times in music class. She probably figured it out on her own. Zhu Lingling replied. Memories of Don Juan? You can't figure out such a difficult piano piece on your own, right? Gao Ran obviously didn't believe her. After I went to college, there was a performance at school. I studied it for a few days and wanted to perform at the New Year's Eve party. The party was suddenly canceled, so I didn't perform. However, I remembered the melody. Huamin smiled. How long ago was that? Gao Ran was dumbfounded. Not long ago, when I was a sophomore. It was winter. In his second year, Huamin was only 19 years old. Now, he was 24 years old. 5 whole years had passed. Huamin could still vividly remember the piano lessons he had learned in the past few days. He had to admit that they were very, very powerful. After playing the Song Yisher stood up and retorted, That's impossible. This song can't be memorized without at least 5 years of practice. Oh, is that so? I'm sorry, but I only practiced for less than 5 days, Huamin said confidently. She was not bragging. She had only been learning for less than 5 days. Suyi was a little shocked. As a music expert, he knew the difficulty of this piano piece. He also knew that even if he practiced for 5 years, he might not be able to play Huamin so quickly and smoothly. Perhaps this was the so-called talent? Is Miss Song a sore loser? Zhu Lingling sneered. Song Yisher's expression immediately turned ugly. To be fair, let's find someone who knows music to judge. Miss Mo, you've been a singer for many years, so you could be considered an expert. Why don't you be more objective? We don't want people to say that we're biased. Jiang Xiaowei suggested. Mo Shui. Turned around and looked at Huamin, then looked at Song Yishu. Then he smiled and said, "To be honest, I can't play this piano piece by Master Franz Liszt, but I can listen to it. Miss Song does play well, and I can tell that she's a professional at first glance. She's learned it before, so the details are handled very well. As for Huamian, she plays very quickly and the rhythm is correct, but the details are rough. However, Huamian isn't a professional, nor has she learned it before. For her, who has only learned it for 5 days, to play it like this, I think it's very scary. At least, I've never met such an abnormal genius." After speaking, Mo Shui sat back down. Song Yishu returned to her seat unhappily. Then, she looked at Qin Shu and asked, "Qin Shu, you've been learning piano since you were 3 years old, so you should know more than anyone else here. Why don't you say something?" Chapter 1050. Mian is very talented. Qin Shu was a man of few words and only said those 6 words. However, Song Yishu was slapped in the face. It was obvious that people only saw Huamin's performance. To be honest, Song Yishu's playing wasn't bad either. However, when it came to Huamin, she was indeed crushed. Huamin only learned for 5 days, while she had learned for 20 years. The difference wasn't small. My Huamin is the legendary person who specializes in crushing her opponents, right? She's too scary. And Ayang laughed. "I was just playing casually, don't take it seriously. Come, let's continue eating." Huamin, on the other hand, was satisfied. After crushing Song Yishu, she was in a good mood. She wasn't the one who started it, but Song Yishu insisted on mentioning Franz Liszt's piano piece. Otherwise, she really only wanted to play a simple Christmas song for everyone. How nice would that be? Why did she have to be so pretentious? "Honey, are you tired?" Qin Shu grabbed Huamin's hand and placed it in his palm. Then he carefully rubbed it. Huamin picked up a glass of red wine with her other hand and took a big gulp. She was indeed quite tired after playing it in one go. Jiang Xiaowei lowered her head and posted the video on her Weibo. The caption said, "Our 2 pianists are competing. Please comment." Then, not only did this video go viral on Weibo, within an hour, it went viral on all the major media outlets. Many piano experts jumped out to comment. Only Song Yishu's brainless fan continued to say blindly, "My goddess is still the winner. Goddess, you're the best. You're beautiful and everything you do is reasonable. Huamin is no match for you." Then, some passersby couldn't stand it anymore and directly replied to Song Yishu's brainless fan, "When did you become blind?" One of the most famous comments was this: "The girl in black's piano technique is not correct, and her sitting posture is not very right. She is obviously a layman, but a layman can quickly play the most difficult piano piece of Master Liszt. This person is amazing. If she wants to learn well, her attainments will be very high." Many famous musicians didn't know who Huamian and Song Yishu were, so they described them as white clothes and black clothes. Most people did not comment on Song Yishu and directly ignored her. Because Huamin's performance was too shocking, there were even a few piano masters who directly asked for Huamin's contact on Weibo, wanting to take him in as a disciple. Then, a fan who understood the truth said, "Accept a disciple? You may be willing, but are they willing? She's the chief physician of Southside's neurology department and a young lady of GK. Why would she be so bored as to learn piano? Wake up, it's okay to dream for a while. If you keep dreaming, then it's wrong." Jiang Xiaowei also did not think that this short video would cause such a huge chain reaction. After Song Yishu saw Weibo, she exploded in anger. She directly asked Jiang Xiaowei, "Who told you to selfishly post this on Weibo? Did you ask me? Friends are gathering to learn from each other. It's not something shameful. Why can't I post it? Why should I ask you? I didn't mean to slander you." Those words were said by the netizens, not me. What's the point of asking me? Jiang Xiaowei directly pushed all the blame on her. Song Yishu was so angry that her face turned pale, she suddenly felt that she shouldn't have come to this party today. Not only did she not receive Qin Shu's special treatment, but she also did not receive any special treatment from him. She was also ruined by everyone. Huamin, is this how you treat your guests? Song Yisher couldn't outtalk Jiang Xiaowei, so she directly targeted Huamin. Huamin picked up a piece of steak and was just about to eat. However, when he heard what Song Yisher said, he put it down. Then he replied with an extremely innocent look, "How am I treating my guests? Did I make you thirsty or hungry? Did you not eat the steak? Did you not drink the red wine? Did I not greet you when you came in?" Chapter 10:51. Song Yisher used to think that other than being smart, Huamin was easy to deal with because Huamin rarely bullied her. She really thought that Huamin was a pushover, so she kept showing off. But in reality, Huamin wasn't weak. Jiang Xiaowei's analysis was right. Huamin just didn't want to talk to her. Huamin's life motto had always been, if a dog bites you, you can't bite back. So, he rarely fought with others. So, she didn't say anything harsh to Song Yisher before, but Song Yisher became more and more arrogant. Now, Huamin's words made Song Yisher speechless, making her lose face. Huamin was right. If you want to come to my party, fine, I'll let you come. But you broke the rules and dressed up as a mermaid to steal the limelight. That's fine too. You said you want to play the piano, so I played with you. Now that you're being attacked, you're trying to slander me. That's your fucking fault. I'm feeding you, drinking you, and playing with you. In the end, you're saying that I don't treat my guests well enough. What are you trying to do? Miss Song is the mayor's daughter. She's from a wealthy family. Maybe she's not suitable to play with us. People who walk different paths can't make plans together. If that's the case, Miss Song, why don't you leave? You don't want to disturb our mood. Zhu Lingling said this. She had been unhappy with bitch Song for a long time, so she and Jiang Xiaowei had been attacking her. Now that she had an excuse, she started to chase her away. Song Yisher's appearance was the biggest blemish of today's party. If she wasn't here, everyone would be in a better mood. Originally, they thought that after Zhu Lingling said this, Song Yisher would be shy and leave. However, the most shocking thing was that she didn't move at all. After 5 seconds of silence, she sneered and glanced at Zhu Lingling's face. "Are you the owner of this place? Well, why do you have to kick him out? I did it for Huamin, so what?" Zhu Lingling tilted her head and retorted. "Why should Huamin replace you? Can't she say it herself? If it's Huamin who wants me to leave today, then fine, I'll leave. If it's not Qin Shu and Huamin, then everyone else, please shut up." Song Yisher was really going all out. She actually said something that disregarded her status. Of course, Qin Shu wanted to kick her out, but Huamin didn't want to fall out with her. If Song Yisher was kicked out today, then once she left South Hill Manor, who knew how she would slander them and complain about her grievances? So Huamin smiled and said, "Forget it. Since you're all here, let's have fun." Huamin, haven't mistreated anyone. I hope that everyone can respect each other and stop causing trouble. Huamin's words stopped everyone from arguing with Song Yisher. It was meaningless. At this time, everyone was almost done eating. There was only red wine left in their glasses, Gao Ran suggested. "Why don't we play truth or dare?" "Hey, that sounds good. Let's play. Zhu Lingling loved to kick up a fuss, especially when it came to Gao Ran's suggestion. Then, everyone nodded in agreement. They all expressed their support for Gao Ran's idea. "How do we play? Master, please tell us the rules." Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin. "Honey, go ahead." Perhaps it was because Huamin had a lot to drink, but she leaned her head on Qin Shu's shoulder and looked at him sweetly. Qin Shu didn't let his wife down. He thought for a moment and said, "Let's play rock, paper, scissors. One person can choose an opponent. Rock, paper, scissors will determine the winner. The loser can choose truth or dare." That's good. I'll go first." Jiang Xiaowei was eager to try. "Sure, Xiaowei can go first. Who do you want to challenge?" Huamin asked with a smile. "You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.